and that driver now has the most wins this year and is gunning for the title as we head into the latter stages of the season. And besides him, Jimmy Adkins and Gordon Weeks, other winners this year include Danny Harrell, which I want to talk about him here in just a few moments, as well as he has two, and Sammy Gaeta, and last year's champ Dale Nichols and two-time champ Landon Abbott each have one checkered flag. So your points coming in tonight, Jimmy Adkins is on top. He's moved up one spot to number 1. Gordon Weeks is up 3 places to number 2, just 2 markers back. Sammy Gaeta is up 1 spot to 3rd, just 4 points back. And Dale Nichols loses 1 spot to 4th, 10 markers back for your top 4 drivers. 5th is Dale Nichols. He's only 13 spots back. And then Landon Abbott right now, 15 points back and 6 spot buck. That's about as close as it gets.
15 points. We've got 14 cars because Josh Perry and Billy Smiley Newman showed up a little while ago. So 14 cars to take the green flag. 1 point between position once they do. And Danny Harrell's back on pit road. So still having plaguing troubles underneath the hood. The race team down there, they are working on the number 95 CarMaster Chevrolet, trying to see what they can do about fixing that so he can start in his original starting position, which is 12th. Other than that, he may have to start at the rear of the field. He cranks it up. And
yeah, Buck, right now I'm watching. He just took off the air filter above the carburetor and trying to work something there. So I can't quite see from my vantage point. It looked like they're messing with some of the throttle cables and different things. And I'm trying to get a pack here. I'm not sure. But they're working closely, trying to get that thing ready to go here before we get started.
Yeah, Vaughn, I saw inside the car from our camera vantage point from up here. He was telling one of the crew members by pushing his hand forward, it was like, I have no throttle. So just what you were calling, they had to take that breather cover off and maybe catching on the bottom of that breather cover. So they need to watch that because they don't want it to stick.
Actually, the problem they're having has nothing to do with throttle. It actually has to do with that fuel pump in the car is working just a little too well, and it's actually drowning, basically filling up that carburetor faster than it can spend it.
Oh, wow.
So that's why he's having the issues he's having right now. So they're trying to figure out why that issue is going on and try to get him back out here soon.
Tough break for Danny Harrell, who looked to bounce back tonight after 2 finishes outside of the top 10 in the last 4 races. So the Norfolk native and the CarMaster Chevrolet had hopes of getting 3 wins and still does. That would be 3 wins this season, but he's had just a rash of issues over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and he had great practices. That's the thing. He had great practices, came out to qualify, and the car just laid down when he came off of turn 4. He hit the throttle, and we both heard it up here in the tower. It was just blah. It just didn't go at all. It just, like Vaughn's saying, they're reporting the fuel pump is giving a little bit too much fuel to the motor, so the jets are flooding in on the carburetor, which is not getting a good fuel to oxygen level mix, and the explosion inside is causing an overburst, which is not allowing the engine to run correctly. It's sort of making it just slam to where it's just really just flattening out and not giving him any kind of horsepower or any takeoff. So they're going to have to try to see what they can do about doctoring that, but it sounds like more like a garage issue more than it does a pit road fix.
Tough break for Danny Harrell. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Old School Video Game Super Streets feature that's presented by checkeredflag.com. Rolling off in 14th, that's Billy Newman in car number 54, and Josh Perry in the 42 car rolls off in position 13. Outside of row 6 is slated to be Danny Harrell. We'll see if they're able to get that buttoned up here just a little bit in car number 95, but it still sits on pit road as we speak. And Don Dawson, the rookie in car number 32, rolls off P11. Outside of row 5, another rookie, Wesley Newell in the 11 entry, while to his inside is the 4 of Joshua Crabtree. Outside of row 4, Angelo Stellan in the 72, while Trey Taylor on the inside in position number 7 in car number 10. Starting in 6th tonight is Sean Calloway in the 12, while Landon Abbott goes from P5 in car 70. Outside of row number 2 is going to be Gordon Weeks in car number 40, while the 71 of Jimmy Adkins rolls off in 3rd. I think I missed a whole row there. And looks like Sean Calloway and Landon Abbott on row 3. Row 2 is Gordon Weeks and Jimmy Adkins. And now on the front row, it's Sammy Gaeta in car number 21. And on the pole with a time of 18.861 seconds, that's Dale Nichols in car number 8. And we're ready to roll here in just a couple of more laps for 40 laps of excitement.
Yeah, and the top two cars, 3/1000ths of a second apart from each other, an 861 to an 864 between Dale Nichols and Sammy Gata. The last time we ran 50 laps, Sammy Gata had a dominating machine. He kept it up front the entire time. You see Danny Harrell's machine, it's being put into gear. Hood's still off, but he's going to head out and try to join the fray. I believe he'll have to start at the tail of the field instead of being able to start at his spot since he did come down pit road.
We'll see what happens here, if that car was able to be repaired or not. We are coming to the green flag next time around. The indications being given. Green flag racing here for the old school video game Super Streets. Shane Snyder, our chief starter, atop the flag stand, letting the field know we're ready to go racing. So the field is now forming down in turns 1 and 2. The Toyota Tundra pickup truck has the lights off as it rolls out of corner number 2. It's going to be Dale Nichols, the defending champion and two-time in car number 8, and Sammy Gata on row 1. Row 2, Jimmy Atkins and Gordon Weeks. Go ahead and tighten those belts. We're ready for race number 1 of the checkeredflag.com night at the races. Pace truck accelerates now, makes the hard left down pit road. We're ready for race number 1 of the evening, and green flag is out. Old school video games are underway in Hampton, Virginia.
And the show is on go. I tell you what, Dale Nichols and Sammy Gata bumped tires before they even took the green flag. They come off in turn number 2, almost door handle to door handle. Gata's actually able to get a little bit better run on the outside of the racetrack. Here comes Nichols. He's fighting back on the inside, but she's loose. Gata will lead lap number 1.
Car number 21 dialing up that outside line, trying to make it stick as they roll back to turns 1 and 2. Now, just a lap prior, they were 4 wide as Danny Harrell raced through turns 1 and 2, trying to make his way to the front. But here is the battle for the lead. Dale Nichols, who started on the pole, is trying to regain the top spot as Sammy Gata keeps charging back on the outside.
Whatever was ailing the 95 machine looks like it's been righted, because he has made his way blistering through the field. He's already up to P5 according to the scoring monitor, but actually I think he's back in about 8th spot right now on the racetrack. Sammy Gata out front, got his hands full with Dale Nichols right in his tire tracks. Jimmy Atkins follows him with Landon Abbott and Gordon Weeks, your top 5 machines. Great run right now for Trey Taylor. He's got the 10 car just outside the top 5 with Sean Calloway in his wake.
Here they come now, racing in turns 3 and 4, working the 4th circuit of the evening as Sammy Gata has the 21 car solidly in command of this race. We're watching the 71 of Jimmy Atkins. Thought about getting out of line and trying to make a pass there. He started this race in 3rd, finds himself right now in the 4th position. At the moment, everybody's single file minding their P's and Q's here at the moment as we're very early in this 40-lap event.
Yeah, we're only a 10th of the way in, putting lap 5 on the board right now. So we're trying to see exactly what's going to happen, what's going to shake out. And they understand Sammy Gata, when they get that car dialed in, like I said, on that 50-lapper, he just checked out on the field and was strolling. Well, this is a 40-lap race, 5 laps in, just barely right at a car length to himself. And then the rest of the field behind him, at least back to about 7th spot. They're less than a half a car length apart each.
Right there together. It's anybody's race here at the moment. And again, we documented Danny Harrell just outside of your frame here on Flow Racing. There he comes into the picture there, riding along an 8th spot. One car getting out of line as Gordon Weeks in the 20 and the 70 of Landon Abbott get together in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he actually, Abbott, that is, the 70 machine, gave a little bit of a shot to the pants back into the 71 machine of Atkins, which got him a little bit loose, which made Weeks come on up and give him a pop. So a little bit of the old accordion effect from 3rd to 5th right there. No harm, no foul. Everybody continues forward.
Good hard racing early on as everybody realizes you want to get closer to the front and you want to get there in a hurry as these laps begin to click away here this evening. Here comes Gordon Weeks one more time. He's trying to find his way around Landon Abbott at car 70. We talked about Gordon Weeks picking up the most recent race win and now sets 3 positions higher in the standings. He's all the way up to 2nd as he has aspirations of going even higher here tonight. So as we continue the points race, watch the 8 car get out of shape going through 1 and 2. He's riding along in 2nd spot.
Yeah, these 4 machines running 2nd through 5th. Right behind that 21 car, you see Sammy Gata leading the way. Then Landon Abbott's car is really turning well. He just can't get all the way down on the inside of Jimmy Atkins without getting all 4 tires down on the apron. Well, we all know that's not going to work. It's too flat down there. Can't use it the whole way through the center of the corner. So Abbott's car a little bit sideways. Now Jimmy Atkins' car starting to look a little bit more sporty as they catch up lap traffic.
Guys, Danny Harrell is off the pace on the back straightaway.
Tough break for Danny Harrell one more time. He has now slowed. Of course, we documented during the parade laps. They had issues. That car was in the pits before the cars even rolled to take their first parade lap. He is now back in the pits, so whatever the issue is, it has not been resolved. And Buck, you're watching a good battle for second now.
Yeah, Jimmy Atkins made a good move off of turn number 2, put the nose to the inside of the red, black, and white number 8 of Nichols. He's going to bypass. The only problem for Nichols, they are very close together, so he's going to go at least from second to fifth probably. He's not going to get down in front of Weeks either, because Weeks is going to drop the 20 machine by on the inside. Best bet for Nichols is to go ahead and hit the brakes real quick, do the old Top Gun move, hit the brakes and drop in behind him. And that's exactly what he does right in front of Trey Taylor's machine. So he will drop back to fifth from second in a matter of 2 laps. But here comes Gordon Weeks. A little bit of a pop to the back end of the 70 of Abbott one more time between those two blue and yellow and gold machines. They've been running each other and doing a little bit of the old chrome horn every once in a while.
And Vaughn Crittenden's down on pit road. Is there, Vaughn, anything you're seeing for Danny Harrell? He's lost multiple laps up to this point.
Yeah, definitely still looking at that carburetor issue. They just pulled the air filter back off, but this time around, there's not much urgency around this. So either he's done for the night or they're just going to try to get it back out there for a little bit. But competitively wise, it looks like Danny's night is finished.
All right, so Danny Harrell off for the rest of the night here as we watch car number 20, Gordon Weeks, go to work on Landon Abbott one more time, and another car off the pace as you just saw on your screen. That's going to be the Josh Perry car.
Yeah, the 42 machine, unfortunately. A little bit further back through the field past Sean Calloway, who's 7th, is Wesley Newell running in the 8th position in the 11th. Angelo Stellan running in the 72 machine in 9th. Joshua Crabtree in the 4th runs 10th. And the 32 machine of Don Dawson, 11th. Billy Smiley Newman runs 12th in the 54. And Joshua Berry, very slow on the racetrack, as you documented. Matter of fact, on pit road now joins Danny Harrell down there.
So 2 cars set on pit road as we are 3 laps shy of the halfway mark in this old school video game Super Streets. Watching a great battle develop here for the 3rd spot. It's been ongoing for the last several laps, but Gordon Weeks trying to figure out which line he needs to use to overtake car number 70 of Landon Abbott. Now, as we watch Sammy Gaeta in car number 21, he is trying to go on and pick up a win here tonight. And we'll see if it's able to happen as we are now at 18 of 40 laps.
And I'll tell you what, this definitely, like you said, does not help Danny Harrell in this points battle, none whatsoever. He'd argue, oh man, wow, Weeks with a big save off of turn number 4. That thing got completely sideways up from under me. As a matter of fact, we got some bumper cars in turns 3 and 4 right now. Wesley Newell getting moved up the track by Stellan. He's going to go sideways. He's going to have to save it. Crabtree has to back out the throttle. He didn't know if the car was coming up the track or not. I've been watching that battle for about 5 laps now while we've been having it on the screen about the 20 and the 70 machines racing. Wesley Newell and Angelo Stellan were just playing bumper tag for the last 5 laps, and that resulted in that. Both cars, no harm, no foul. Now back up to the front where we're going to see coming off of turn number 4, the 21 machine at the bottom of your screen there. Sammy Gaeta's out front, but Jimmy Atkins is now starting to set the hook. He's gotten himself within less than a car length and a half off the back of the 21 car.
Here they come off of turn number 2, 1 lap past the halfway mark. It's Sammy Gaeta who continues to lead this old school video game Super Streets by a little less than a half a second over Jimmy Atkins, who right now rides in P2. Landon Abbott is currently riding in 3rd, but this is the battle on the racetrack for the lead as they now work through 1 and 2. You can see about 4 car lengths separates 1st and 2nd as Sammy Gaeta started this race on the outside pole and has led the entire 22 laps here this evening, and just cannot quite shake the rest of the field. They're not letting him get too far ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't know if Sammy's riding right now. That car might just be that good. I mean, he put down his qualifying lap for the pole on lap 1. It wasn't lap 2. He did that on lap 1. Oh, Angelo Stellan off of turn number 4 once again. Broad sideways, right about a half a straightaway ahead of the leaders right now. There is Jimmy Atkins, and it looks like Landon Abbott's car is coming to life because he has reeled in that black and green and white 71.
Indeed, he was about 0.2 of a second faster than Jimmy Atkins that last lap and about 1/10 of a second faster than the race leader as they work through 3 and 4. So Landon Abbott trying to make his way back closer to the front. Now looks down to the inside. This is a battle for the runner-up spot as they race back to 1 and 2. Indeed, sticks the nose on the inside. They're side by side coming off of turn number 2. Here comes the 20 of Gordon Weeks. He's going to try to ride in the tire tracks of Landon Abbott as they race back to 3.
Gotta wonder if Atkins is feeling something because that car went from right on the back bumper of the 21 to fading a little bit. And now the 70 car's gone by of Landon Abbott, and now here comes Gordon Weeks down to the bottom of the track. The Weeks construction number 20, working to the inside. He gets a little bit sideways. A little smoke comes up between the 2 cars. Didn't look like they touched, but it looks like some smoke coming out of the right side pipes of the 20.
Here they come, coming off our corner number 4, the 71 sideways. One more time, that's Jimmy Atkins as he does get back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, a couple of cars swirly coming off at turn number 2. That was going to be the 4 of Joshua Crabtree. We're watching them as well. But here is Gordon Weeks in car number 20. Right now, he's riding along in 3rd spot, just ahead of Jimmy Atkins here as they work off at turn number 4 and put 28 laps on the board.
Traffic coming up. Josh Crabtree in the 4 and Don Dawson in the 32, side by side ahead of your leader. Off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch, Crabtree up to the top side of the track will give way to Sammy Gaeta as we watch the rest of your top 5 machines race on. And now Gaeta trapped behind Dawson's 32 machine. It's going to cost him a little bit of time. It's going to allow Landon Abbott to crawl up, and we are going to have caution for the first time tonight.
Yellow flag number 1 flies here at the 29th lap at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. And looks like we're going to find out exactly what the caution flag was for. But indeed, we are under our first yellow flag of the evening as Sammy Gaeta leads this event after 29 laps have been completed. 11 more to go in this old school video game Super Streets feature. Looks like Gordon Weeks, who was riding along in 3rd spot, is in the pits. I'm not sure if he has a tire down or what.
Smoke coming out from under the car, like I called there. Little smoke coming from between him, and there it is rolling out from even underneath the hood area of the car down there, Vaughn.
Yeah, that's right. Crew members looking underneath the car right now, trying to figure out where the source of that smoke is coming from. Peeking underneath the hood, trying to figure out the problem. You can definitely see it actively coming out somewhere in the engine area. Oh, and they peeked underneath the hood here. I can't quite smell what it is yet, but waiting to see what the issue is.
Yeah, back in the day, they could run antifreeze. Now you can't because they realized that eats up the asphalt. So a lot of tracks disallowed antifreeze, or else you could definitely tell it was water coming out.
It's definitely leaking something.
Yeah, I see some down there in front of you on the ground. So, yeah, man, what a heartbreaker. Comes out of winning and jumping 3 spots in the points into pit road now. And he and Danny Harrell look like they had the same problem going on, both of them underneath the hood.
So yellow flag number 1 here in the latter stages of this race. Something unusual here in the old school video game Super Streets, but indeed the 20 car does come back out, trying to maximize his points for the evening. We're talking about Gordon Weeks, who was riding along in 3rd spot, and he's going to relinquish a lot of track position. He'll restart this race at the tail end of the field. Sammy Gaeta has been the class of the field all evening long. He's led the entire 28 laps up to this point as this race is quickly coming to a close, but we're still, I say quickly coming to a close, there's still quite a few laps left to go, and anything can happen.
His qualifying lap for the outside pole is an 18.864. His fastest lap of the race an 18.974. I mean, a 1/10 of a second difference between your fastest lap of the race, which happened to be lap 4 of the race, and compared to your qualifying time. And right now, as we hit lap 28, a 19.551, that shows the drop off of these tires after you run a solid green flag run for that. I mean, 28 laps straight on these racing tires. It was starting to get a little bit hairy out there. A lot of drivers, but I tell you, the car that was coming in the most was Landon Abbott's machine. This is not what Landon Abbott wants. He's trying to keep heating those tires as much as he can. Here comes the one to go, the CarMasters Automotive Choose Zone, and Jimmy Atkins goes to the top. Sean Calloway goes to the top. Wesley Newell. We got a few takers going to the top here, buddy. Angelo Stellan as well going to the top half of the racetrack.
Here we go. We're coming now to the Flow Racing's CorvetteParts.net restart zone presented by King Parts. It's going to be 2 by 2 almost throughout the entire field as we're set up for the final 12 laps of action. It's Sammy Gaeta who's going to restart this race as the leader. To his right elbow is going to be the 71 of Jimmy Atkins. Pace truck is getting ready to make that left and come down pit road, and we're set for the final 12 laps of action.
Sammy's got him creeping, boy. I tell you what, and there it is. He hits the button off of turn number 4. Down the front stretch they come. Sammy Gaeta with Jimmy Atkins to his right elbow on the restart. No way, Jose, you're not getting down in front of me, says Landon Abbott. Actually, Gaeta goes ahead and rides the brake pedal a little bit through the center of the corner to make sure the 71 can't get down back there. At the back of the pack, Josh Crabtree and Angelo Stellan make some contact. And there goes Wesley Newell. Gordon Weeks nowhere to go, and there's a fire under the hood of the 20 machine.
Yellow flag number 2 will fly here at lap number 29. More bad luck for Gordon Weeks at the wrong place at the wrong time. The 11 of Wesley Newell broke loose through 3 and 4. The 20 car with nowhere to go tags the side of that car after it already had spun, and that slows this field one more time here at lap number 28.
That's right. It's that time. We always talk about Katie bar to the door. Here it's gonna get exciting now. That's for sure. So these old school video game super street machines. Sammy Gator, your leader. Jimmy Atkins had come to third actually at the last green flag lap we had. So we're probably going to go all the way back to this lineup we're looking here. They're going to have to, NASCAR's going to have to get them lined back up. Sammy Gator, your leader. Landon Abbott in second. And then Jimmy Atkins third in the 71. Dale Nichols fourth. And Trey Taylor will be your fifth place car in the 10. Sean Calloway will line up seventh. Because when you have that, it's literally a re-rack. You go back before they even got to go to the CarMasters Automotive Choose Zone or the Restart Zone for CorvetteParts.net and Keen Parts. So they're going to have to re-rack that entire deal, put them in the order they were before they chose last time. So now, if your choice want a good one, now you can make the opposite. So this is going to be pretty neat. It's going to make Landon Abbott probably think about just staying right on the back bumper of that 21 car, because like I said, Gator looked like he let off the throttle just a little bit to make sure Landon Abbott was right on his back bumper so Jimmy Atkins could not get down on that last restart.
Good strategy here for several drivers here tonight, particularly at the head of the field as they try to jockey for position and figure out which line they want to use to advance to try to get towards the front as the laps begin to wind down. And Buck, we talk about this week after week, but it's so true. Cautions breed cautions. An uneventful but exciting 28-lap race, and all of a sudden, we've had a rash of yellows.
Yes, they do. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds put it perfectly, saying that time and time again. Crew chiefs and championship driver, you know, coming to forefront of NASCAR, and it does. It bunches everybody back up together. You want to try to get the most you can out of the restart because you want to try to be the closest to the leader to make that challenge. And if you can't beat him, maybe I can at least reach that back bumper cover.
That's right. Give a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a hello, I'm here. Try to get them out of line so you can try to make that pass. Hey, want to thank our friends at CarMasters Automotive, Napa Gold, 36-month, 36,000 peace of mind warranty. That's a RepairPal.com fair price guarantee. Customer rental and loaner cars are available, and CarMasters is hiring technicians and paying $55 per hour with 100% health and more benefits. Give them a call at 757-456-0722 or online at CarMastersAuto.com. Here we go. The CarMasters Choose Zone is in full effect, and Buck, several takers again go topside.
Second verse, quick, same as the first. Yeah, Vaughn.
Hey, guys, just talked with the people down here with Gordon Weeks. So that the smoke you've actually been seeing underneath the car looks like it's an overflow of transmission fluid inside the transmission. So it's been coming out of the vents. So that is what we've been seeing coming out of the car. So performance-wise, it's fine. Just a little extra fluid in the transmission.
Yeah, and that vent's right next to the header, so it just pops right out and goes right onto the header. So it really burns away just about as fast as it comes out.
Here we go for the race restart one more time. Sammy Gator hoping to hit his marks and hit them perfectly. As to his right elbow is Jimmy Atkins. We're back under the green flag here as the old school video games rock down in turns 1 and 2. Side by side for the top spot. We're 2 by 2, several rows back.
Sean Calloway trying to take advantage of that outside restart from the CarMasters Automotive Choose Zone, and he's on the outside of Dale Nichols now. Nichols will go ahead and fill the void down to the left elbow of the 12 machine, and Trey Taylor looks to fill the void just as well. He sails the 10 car down in. Your top 3 cars are in a knot off of turn 2, and Kate is going around.
Sideways he does a 360 down the backstretch after he and the 70 of Landon Abbott get together coming off of turn number 2, and he's still in the throttle now in the grass. We're talking about race leader, or was race leader, Sammy Gator. After contact was made between he and Landon Abbott, some hard racing coming off of turn number 2. It was so close, Buck, you could throw a blanket over the top 3. They were right there together.
Yeah, Gator looked like he was trying to keep Jimmy Atkins at bay on the outside of him, but he had Landon Abbott right on the back bumper cover, and when they came off of 2, he got a little bit sideways, and I think Sammy Gator might have a little bit of something to say.
He is not happy. He's certainly going to let the 70 of Landon Abbott know. Matter of fact, he gets right back in front of him.
Yeah.
And we'll see what NASCAR does on this one. As, again, one unhappy driver we're talking about, Sammy Gator, had led a majority of this race, has trouble here coming off of turn number 2 in the latter stages of this event. And unfortunately, it is not going to turn out the way the 21 car wants it.
Well, I mean, even though it's only a 40-lap event, that's still 11 laps for Sammy Gator to get back to the front. He has a very fast car. We've shown that in qualifying and race trim. He's got a very fast machine. Now, the only problem is, being the reason for the caution, he will have to start at the tail end of the longest line, so the lesser amount of cars that take the CarMasters Automotive Choose Zone is going to mean the further back in the field that he's going to have to drive towards the front. Now, the other thing is he just spun the car. Now, luckily, he did a little bit of more agricultural spinning than he did on the asphalt, so it didn't hurt the tires as bad. So he's going to have to re-rack it, though, and it's going to be Jimmy Atkins in the 71, now your new leader, with Landon Abbott in the 70 in second. Sean Calloway, hey, it goes ahead and pays off dividends for him for choosing the CarMasters Automotive 2 Zone for the outside on the restart. And the 12 car will come to the line at least for the CarMasters Automotive 2 Zone in fourth. Dale Nichols is in fifth in the 8, and Trey Taylor just outside the top 5. Angelo Stellan, what a run for the rookie right now, 7th spot.
Despite almost spinning earlier on, that car broke very loose after he and Wesley Newell got together. But we're getting set for a race restart. Still 11 laps to go. New race leader for the first time tonight. It's going to be car number 71. Jimmy Atkins will be our race leader, and just behind him is Landon Abbott. Now, Landon has not won a race since, and as a matter of fact, looks like that car may be posted.
Yeah, that's right. The 70 was just posted to the rear for rough driving for that spin with Sammy Gaeta. So they'll both be at the back of the pack for these last 11 laps.
We sold you the whole seat. You're only going to need the edge.
Well, Buck, this is why I always schedule Super Streets on these big nights, because they always put on a show.
Always. There's no doubt about that, Vaughn. They never disappoint. Like I said, the first time Jeff Burton came here with Harrison Burton, I told him to watch these cars. They ran 20 laps simultaneously, nose to tail. And he looked at me and he goes, "What are you talking about, man? These guys are just following each other." Well, one car spins in 1 and 2. They bunch up 3 wide, 3 rows into turn 1 on the next restart. And he turned to me and he was just like, and I said, "That's what I'm talking about." Yeah, these cats never, ever give up. And a little while ago, I said Stellan was 7th. He was actually 6th. Well, now he's 5th.
That's right. Move everybody up a couple of positions, because the race leader was Sammy Gaeta. The driver that was in 3rd was Landon Abbott. They have both been posted to the rear. At least the 21 of Sammy Gaeta spun and has to restart at the rear. And now we just saw the 70 of Landon Abbott. You just heard from Vaughn Crittenden has been posted. He'll have to restart at the back as well. And he was certainly not happy with NASCAR's decision. You saw him spin the tires here on the front stretch.
Yeah, he realized he was put in between a rock and a hard place as well. But a lot of times what they do is call that involved. Not so much rough driving, but just involved in the caution. The spinning car came off of his front bumper, no matter which way you look at it. And so that was probably the reason for the decision. But we've got a few takers, including Gordon Weeks, who gets a free e-ticket from Disney World all the way to the outside of row 2.
Wow. Also look at Sean Calloway there, restarting 3rd in this one. He's been kind of slowly creeping his way up with everyone else's fortune. So we'll see what happens here.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you, another driver who's been getting great action in the Smith Wraps and Graphics Limited late models, Trey Taylor. He drove that 18 car. He's in the top 5 now. Here we go down into turn 1.
Side by side for the top spot on the inside is Jimmy Atkins. Dale Nichols is trapped on the outside. Look at this, Sean Calloway. As we watch a battle there, 4 wide, as you mentioned, Buck. Watching the 21 car go to work. Here comes the 20 of Gordon Weeks, trying to make it 3 wide here on the front stretch, leaning on one another, going down at turns 1 and 2. Sean Calloway backs out of the throttle. Gordon Weeks now gets that 3rd spot. He's going to work on Dale Nichols for 2nd down the back stretch.
He sailed her in there video game style. He just rolled in. Oh, 8 tires are better than 4. That might have cut down the right front, and I think it did on Gordon Weeks' machine. He's going to catch a little bit of the outside concrete, right front flat for the 20 machine. We stay green.
Tough break for Gordon Weeks tonight. Has gotten even worse for the 20 car. It is just setting now, crawling through turns 1 and 2, and that is going to put us under the yellow flag for the 4th time tonight.
But not before Sammy Gaeta got to 6th.
How about that? Sammy Gaeta working his way back to the front after being spun early on in turn number 2. Gordon Weeks off the pace. He has cut a right front tire. That car is crawling now through turn number 2. And Vaughn, I tell you, it's just been a rash of bad luck for that young driver.
As tonight, they have been going through a gauntlet of issues so far with the car. One really kind of a phantom issue that kind of stepped to the back of the pack, got involved in that caution with the 11 car, and now sees himself come back through the pack, gets in with the 8 car, punctures a tire, and is now slowly crawling his way to the entrance of pit road, where he will come to the attention of his team. They're already ready with the spare tire, jack in hand, impact wrench in hand, and they're going to try. It's not going to be a NASCAR Cups pit stop, but they're going to try and do this as quick as they can. As you can see, a lot of smoke probably still coming from that earlier issue we talked about with the transmission overflow. as they try to look and see how you can definitely see more transmission fluid as a little bit of a trail as he comes down pit road, actually. Not sure how much that is put out on the track, but for right now, they're jacking that car up. They're going to try and get that right front changed on it. Not too much damage to the right front fender. I really feel like once they get this thing on here and they got that thing maybe beaten out a little bit, it should be okay. But everything else will be all right. Looks like the fender took most of the brunt when it scraped the wall off before.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, but here goes, Brian. Who's eligible for the CarMasters Automotive Restart Zone?
Pretty much everybody but the driver that brought out the yellow flag.
So the 21 and the 70 now are eligible for the CarMasters Automotive Restart Zone. So this is going to be the choose zone, pardon me. So this is going to be mighty interesting to see what they do, because we already saw Sammy Gator drive from last to what was 6th at that point right now. So now we're going to see how many cars take the outside line on the choose zone, because it's going to be mighty interesting if they let the 21 and the 70 go all the way to the front.
I agree with that statement 100%. And think about this as well. The 20 car of Gordon Weeks did not lose a lap in that exchange. So he's went down pit road with the help of his crew. They have a fresh tire on that car, or a fresher tire on that race car. He still has a shot at it because we still have 9 green flag laps of racing to go.
Yeah, it's one of the things a lot of race fans at the local track level, if you're used to watching the Cup Series, of course, every lap counts. Anything under 100 laps in NASCAR racing does not include caution laps. So when we get to the checkeredflag.com 150, caution laps count. So it's going to be a little bit different of something to watch. But here in the local series, here with our old school video game Super Streets, you can go down pit road and get it worked on and come back out. Here we go.
So the last 3 laps, we've had 4 yellow flags, hoping to get some more green flag laps in. Here comes Jimmy Atkins on the inside. Stands back in the throttle, works the gearbox. He'll lead the train back to turn 1, minus 1 car that now hits pit road. That's going to be Gordon Weeks.
Yeah, Gordon Weeks back down the pit road. He shuts it off this time around. We'll let you get back to the racing action. If we hear anything down here, I'll let you know more.
All right, buddy. Off of turn number 4, here they come, and the top 3 cars are Jimmy Atkins, Dale Nichols, and Sammy Gator with a door-handle battle right now going between Sean Calloway and Landon Abbott.
Here comes Sammy Gator trying to rejoin the party at the head of the field. Looks down to the inside of Dale Nichols as they race back to turns 3 and 4. Race leader Jimmy Atkins is pulled away to a 2-car length advantage coming off of turn number 4. But there's one hungry driver. We're talking about Sammy Gator as they race back to 1 and 2.
Man, Landon Abbott sailed that car down into turn 1. The front end came out from under it a little bit. He was got a little bit of a door nudge from the 12 Callaway a couple of laps ago, and he wanted to return that shot. Right now, we've got a little trouble with the 11 machine as they're playing bumper tag up ahead. Wesley Newell's hood is up. He cannot see anything of where he's going.
As we watch a battle there for position number 4, Landon Abbott and Sean Calloway get together through turns 1 and 2, but the 70 of Abbott does clear the 12. Meanwhile, the hood condition continues to deteriorate on the 11 car.
Yeah, Wesley Newell, there it is, the hood right up in front of that young driver's face. So he can only see a little bit of a gap of the line underneath the hood area. So they're going to come down pit road, try to take off a couple of those hood pins. Remember, when he spun, he made contact with the 20 of Weeks. Weeks came through and hit him. It probably broke that hood pin area in that car and had it just wiggling enough, and it finally let go. So the hood off, and now Wesley Newell back out there. And Trey Taylor's going to go ahead and honk the old chrome horn on the 12 machine. He's got to save his own car because it loosens up going into 1. Off of turn 2, they'll continue down the backstretch. Callaway and Taylor working down into 3.
Callaway right now occupies P5 as they work through 3 and 4, looking at Dale Nichols, the defending champion of this division, as we only have 3 laps to go. Rides along in second spot, about 2 car lengths behind car number 71, Jimmy Atkins, who leads the championship standings, our most recent winner, and he has 3 victories this year. He's trying to make it 4 as they come off at turn number 4 and see now just 2 more laps to go. We're single file, but that could quickly change as here comes Sammy Gator for that second spot.
Just under a mile left to go for these machines. Down the backstretch, they had Jimmy Atkins has spread it out. Almost 3 car lengths on the straightaways now over Dale Nichols, Sammy Gator. That spin definitely not helping the tires, but he and Landon Abbott able to make their way back into the top 5. The battle is one for 5th down the front stretch as your leaders are pretty much single file. They work down into turns 1 and 2, and Trey Taylor takes it from Sean Callaway down for turn 2.
Good racing all through the field, but here comes car number 71, Jimmy Atkins, for the 4th time in 2022. He's going to win the Old School Video Game Super Streets here this evening after starting in 2nd spot, and he has done it here tonight. Jimmy Atkins is your race winner after taking over that top spot back on lap number 30, and he never looked back for those final 10 laps, Buckaroos.
Yeah, just think, lap 29, he was 4th. Lap 30, because we had those couple of cautions that went through that involved the leaders, he ends up 1st by the time they cross the line on lap 30, and now he's pulling into Dale in his victory lane. What a great run tonight for that 71 team.
So Jimmy Atkins looks to extend that point standings lead as we leave here tonight. Some drivers who aren't going to take away some points, Buck, include Gordon Weeks.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to see Sammy Gaeta probably jump up at least a spot in the points, as well as Dale Nichols. I think we're going to see Weeks fall like 2 spots in the point standings, as there goes the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series checkered flag in Jimmy Atkins' hand.
Jimmy Atkins is tonight's race winner. On top of your screen, you see the rest of the top finishers. Dale Nichols manages to bounce back and get a 2nd spot. So for Dale Nichols, that's got to feel like redemption, because that's his best finish since July the 21st.
And dude, Angelo Stellan, rookie, 72 car, 7th. Joshua Crabtree in the 4 car, 8th. Don Dawson, a rookie in the 32, 9th. And Billy Smiley Newman comes home with a top 10 tonight. What a great run for those teams as well. And Trey Taylor, we talked about him needing to shake that monkey off his back, get rid of those gremlins. Top 5 finish for the 10 car tonight. Great runs for all those teams.
Gotta feel like a victory. Outside of the top 10 tonight, finishing 11th was Wesley Newell. Coming home 12th was Gordon Weeks. Joshua Crabtree was 13th, and Danny Harrell only completed 10 laps. He'll finish 14th tonight and take another big hit in the championship standings. But one driver who will not take a hit and will continue to pad that lead, it is Jimmy Atkins in car number 71. He has delivered here tonight. He gets it done. When it matters the most, he has pulled that car down into Dale Lemon's victory lane. He's going to climb out of it and celebrate. He's from Virginia Beach in the J.R. Smith Motorsports Marty Strickland Race Engines car. Let's go trackside now to Vaughn Crittenden.
That's right, Jimmy Atkins getting unbuckled here from his car after a hard-fought win, 40 laps in these Old School Video Game Super Streets. Sammy Gaeta jumping over here to give congratulations to Jimmy. They're talking out, shaking hands, good sportsmanship between the two competitors out here. And race fans, here is your winner, Jimmy Atkins! All right, Jimmy, come over to the front of the car here, man. First off, fantastic, hard-fought win. How were you able to hold them all off there for all 40 laps?
Well, I did. I had to let him go. We're kind of points racing a little bit. Landon started putting the heat on me. I had to let him go. And then when that cone comes out, I'm counting points. I got to take the outside. And I hate that Sammy got dumped like that. It was probably his race to win. I think he was a little better than me tonight. But we were able to outrace him. So worked out. We are good. So I want to thank Beach Radiator. I never have a chance to actually thank them. So I want to thank Beach Radiator and all my guys, J.R. Smith, Phil, Smitty, Bobby Spivey, everybody. Got Riley, Michael. I got the Beach Radiator guy. Yeah, my daughter, Carson, and her boyfriend Thomas, they come out here all the time. Zach, and we're all good.
All right, race fans, well, here's your winner for the Old School Video Game Super Streets, Jimmy Atkins. And he's going to be getting his trophy from our fine sponsor tonight, checkeredflag.com. And Buck, Brian, 1 down, 2 to go, and we got these Harris Truck Size Super Trucks next.
Yeah, you're getting ready for a show here.
That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun. We just watched a great one in which 3rd place starter Jimmy Atkins, the point standings leader, has delivered, picks up win number 4. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more after these short messages.
Feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I wanna tell her that I love her.
We're back back at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for the checkeredflag.com 150 night here at the races. Race 1 is complete. Race number 2, the Harris Truck Shop Super Trucks are now rolling here on the front stretch. This is round 7 of the season for this division, and the first time since back on August the 6th. Hunter Waltrip in the 33 broke a 4-race winless streak when he returned to Dale Lemons Victory Lane in the last event earlier this month. It was his second of the season since the season's first race. Now, Hunter is from Williamsburg and is 26 years old. He's supported by Harper & Company, M&M Custom Printing, interior and exterior painting. Hunter held off Chris Roberts, who won 4 out of the last 5 races. Chris also competes in the Pepsi Grand Stocks, where he has the most victories and leads the standings in hopes of winning his second title in that division. Now, Hunter continues to lead the championship standings headed into tonight's race. He leads by only 4 points over Chris McAvoy, who right now in car number 3 is second. Donald Brown is third, 11 markers back in the 05. Chris Roberts, after missing the first race because he wasn't named to that truck until race number 2, is now up to 4th, and Kevin Rickman rounds out the top 5. Now, speaking of rookie Chris McAvoy, he earned another podium finish the last time out when he crossed the finish line in 3rd place. It was his 3rd of the season. Now, again, he drives that 3 pickup and lives in Newport News. In his first year, he has finished no worse than 4th and has an average finish of 3.3. As these trucks now roll, let's take a look at the starting lineup for this feature, presented by checkeredflag.com. Wayne Lyon in the 66 rolls off P number 7. Starting outside of row 3 is the 05 of Donald Brown. To his inside is Chris Spangler in pickup truck number 30. Starting in 4th is going to be the 7 pickup truck. That's Bill Wallace, while Chris McAvoy starts in position number 3 in the 3 pickup. And now the front row on the outside is Chris Roberts in the truck 8, while Hunter Waltrip qualifies on the pole with a time of 19.285 seconds. Let's go trackside now to Von Crittenden. Von Crittenden down on pit road having the action for us here this evening. Buck Bruce up in the tower with me. I'm Brian White. Trucks are now forming. The field is through turns 1 and 2. Lights have gone off that Toyota Pace truck, and look at these beautiful lights come on around this property.
Yeah, I tell you what, these lights lighten it up like it's almost daylight on the racing surface. That's for sure. You see everything around this facility now. Used to have a few dark spots down the backstretch. No more.
That's right. Hunter Waltrip on the inside of Chris Roberts on row number 1. Chris McAvoy, Bill Wallace, row 2. It's going to be 25 laps of pickup truck racing. Buck Bruce, take us to the green.
Here we go, Timmy Waltrip into the gearbox. Down into turn number 1, he will go. Chris to his outside and his right elbow. Chris Roberts trying to hang on. We just saw him pull into Dale Lemons Victory Lane last weekend in the Pepsi Grand Stocks, and what a run off of turn 2 on the outside. The 33 truck got a little bit loose, and then it all of a sudden got tight. He pulls up to the tailgate and gives him a shot.
Good racing coming off of turn number 4. Hunter Waltrip letting the 8 pickup truck of Chris Roberts know he's there. So Chris Roberts takes over the top spot here on the opening lap, trying to get back where he left off.
Waltrip clobbered the fence off of turn number 2. He left a bunch of black marks down the wall. So that truck definitely a little bit tight right now, but he's carrying a bunch of concrete in those wheels now.
Here they come, just 2 laps in the books. Chris McAvoy coming to life in that 3 pickup. He's up to 3rd spot as they race off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. And here comes Bill Wallace in the 7. He's dialing up that inside line in 4th spot as they race single file coming off of turn number 4. But back up front, we're watching the 33 of Hunter Waltrip is not letting Chris Roberts get too far out ahead.
Yeah, Bill Wallace, what a story he's been this season, getting better and better every race. The Bayport Credit Union number 7 pickup truck that gets his nose right into the screen right there. There you see it. A little bit of the old burgundy and black pickup truck with the black 7 on it with the white outline. He's right on the tailgate of McAvoy's machine right now. He's going to give a challenge to the defending championship truck, because that truck was the actual championship truck from last season.
Indeed it is, and he's trying to get right up there with him. We're talking about Bill Wallace in the 7, as we've got 4 trucks that are trying to break away from the rest of the field, and here comes Hunter Waltrip. He wants that top spot. The two get together going into 1 and 2. Hunter Waltrip out of nearby Williamsburg. Here's a battle for P3. We're watching the Chris McAvoy truck try to hold off Bill Wallace. So just good racing all the way around.
Bill Wallace rolled that thing down in there, and there was no way it was sticking. He 100% with 8 tires are better than 4 on that pass. But McAvoy going ahead and giving him the A+, letting him go ahead on by. No cause, no harm, no foul. But, man, Timmy Waltrip's truck starting to come to light. The 8 truck starting to back up to him a little bit. Off of turn number 4, they come down the front stretch. It's in the center of the corner where you see the difference. The 8 truck on entry right there, 33 grabs him right here, but the 8 truck on exit is a little bit better. Man, if he can get one good shot right down on the inside, get him a little bit loose, it's going to be battle on.
Watching a great battle for the top spot. The Harris Truck Shop Super Trucks are racing here in round 2 of the checkeredflag.com night at the races. Chris Roberts has the most victories here this season, leads this event, but he's trying to hold off point standings leader Hunter Waltrip, as now Hunter has caught him on the back end as they race back to 3.
That's that run in the corner I was talking about. Get a little bit of the old tailgate honk and see what he can do about moving that 8 truck up the track, and he will do so. He gets him a little bit loose on entry right there into turn number 1, all the way down to the apron, just about doing some agricultural racing between the two. Roberts puts the block on. Once again, your leader is Chris Roberts in the 8, Hunter Waltrip in the 33 runs 2nd, Bill Wallace in the 7 runs 3rd, Chris McAvoy in the 3 runs 4th, and Chris Spangler in the 30 runs 5th, Donald Brown in the 05 6th, and Wayne Lyon rounds out your 7 trucks in the 66. Your leader's still doing a little bit of the old chrome horn magic.
Good racing, but one of the fastest trucks on the property right now is Bill Wallace, who rides in 3rd spot. He's 0.2 of a second faster than Hunter Waltrip, a 10th faster than Chris Roberts. He is trying to close in that gap, and indeed he is. He's chopped it off to now just a 1.5 seconds, while the top 2 are separated by less than 0.3 of a second as they work down the backstretch. 1 lap shy of the halfway mark when they come by the start-finish line this time. It's Chris Roberts having one eye out the windshield, one eye out the mirror, as he's seeing Hunter Waltrip closing that gap in, and more importantly, here comes Bill Wallace. It's going to be a 3-truck battle for the lead.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he was gaining on them right now. It's about stalemated. They've stayed about the exact same distance apart. It was really when the 33 and the 8 started playing the little bumper tag that you saw the 7 start to really gain on them. And, man, he's got a great truck through 3 and 4. Off of turn 2 is where the 7's a little bit more, just more even to them. And once again, Waltrip able to get up there and give a little honk to the back end of the 8 pickup, but not able to shake Roberts inside that machine. And Roberts trying to just capture another win right now and see what he can do. Once again, coming in 4th in the point standings tonight. Now, Timmy Waltrip, he had the lead in the point standings coming into tonight. But you got to remember, on the, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd race of the season, he had an 8th place finish. And that's the only reason the points are as tight as they are right now. And, man, Bill Wallace has caught the 33 truck.
Bill Wallace not backing down. The driver out of Gloucester, Virginia, running super strong as he's now beginning to close in. The 2nd place is Hunter Waltrip. As again, he's about 0.3 of a second faster than Hunter Waltrip and even faster than Chris Roberts. Keep your eye on pickup truck number 7. That Bayport Credit Union Tidewater Collision Center pickup is rolling now as we go to the 2nd half of this race. Just 3 laps past the halfway mark. We still have plenty of time to go. 9 more laps of racing as Bill Wallace has caught Hunter Waltrip.
That truck's getting...
Oh, we got a truck around in turn 2. The 30 of Chris Spangler goes around after he and the Donald Brown truck get together in turn number 2. And Buck, that's going to put us under the yellow flag for the first time tonight here at lap 16.
Yes, sir. The Whelen Engineering yellow lights come to life all around this racetrack underneath this Musco lighting system. And, man, this track is just beautiful under this new lighting system and these Whelen lights. You've seen them everywhere on specialty vehicles, on first responder vehicles, all around all the racing facilities all around the country. Whelen Engineering providing all the great lighting systems.
Indeed, that's the case. We just saw Chris Spangler go for a loop. That driver from right here in Hampton, 38 years of age, goes around in turn number 2 after he and Donald Brown get together. It is a Saturday night, short track racing. There's very limited real estate, so sometimes it's just good, hard racing, but tempers sometimes flare here on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a big bonus for Bill Wallace right now because his right front tire was smoking every time he rolled in the corner. A little bit of a chance for his right front tire to cool off a little bit, see what he can do about making another charge. We only got 16 laps on the board right now out of the 25, so just a little bit more time to go. And like you had stated, he was getting faster every lap they ran. So he was actually faster than the leader and ran him down. Now, here's the thing. When you're trying to learn the racing, you know, you passed your rookie season, you get a lot under your belt, you got a fast truck. All right, I caught him. What do I do with him?
That's right. Which line do I use?
You know, do I go down? Do I just go ahead and try to get a little bit of bumper up under him, loosen him up? Or do I just try to see how cleanly I can pass him the first shot? And then if I can't really get by him, maybe go ahead and use a little bit of muscle. Right on the entrance of the corner in these trucks is the magic spot. If you can catch somebody right on entry, these trucks are so high up off the ground, they just get a little bit loose on entry. And when they get loose on entry, they are able to catch it in the center of the corner and off, and that makes the entire rotation at each end of the track. As the CarMaster's Automotive Choose Zone has been put into full effect, and it looks like McAvoy's going to be the only one to choose.
He's going to go from 4th to 2nd. And get this, Buck, we talk about rookies, but we got a veteran, 72-year-old Bill Wallace is showing the young guns how it's done on a Saturday night. He is running strong. He's going to restart this race in 5th spot. But we talk about strategy. Chris McAvoy uses that to his advantage from 4th to 2nd. Let's see if he can dial up that outside line and possibly get around Chris Roberts or maybe settle in line behind him and get in the middle between him and the 33 of Hunter Waltrip. Coming back to the green flag, just 9 laps to go.
Here we go, through the gearbox, down the front stretch they come. Once again, Chris Roberts able to get back through the gearbox nice and clean as always. He's got Timmy Waltrip right in his tire tracks. They catch McAvoy on the outside of the racetrack. Wallace right in their tire tracks. Not letting him get too far away, maybe a truck length and a half. Not enough room now for the 3 truck to get down, that's for sure. Bill wants it, and he wants to go ahead and keep that spot, that's for sure. He's holding on to 3rd, man. She got sideways. Here comes Donald Brown. It's a 4-truck battle for 2nd.
Great racing. You can throw a blanket over these pickups. That's how close they are. The 3 of Chris McAvoy settles in line, but not so fast. Here comes Bill Wallace. Shoots out of the cannon down to the inside. Now contact is made between Donald Brown and Chris McAvoy. McAvoy washes up the racetrack, gathers it back together. Donald Brown goes to the inside. He'll take P4.
And Chris Spangler said, hey, guys, wait up. I want some of this fun. He rolls right in on the tailgate of the 3 truck. But your top 3 trucks now, a little bit of a breakaway. Chris Roberts with about 2 to 3 truck lengths over Timmy Waltrip, who has 2 to 3 over Bill Wallace.
Here they come off of turn number 4, laps beginning to wind down. Chris Roberts says, boys, go ahead and have at it. He pulls away by a little bit. It's 0.6 of a second. That's his advantage midway down the backstretch over Hunter Waltrip. But here comes Bill Wallace one more time, very fast as he rockets down through turns 3 and 4. They come back to the stripe, the extended palm, as you would say, from our chief starter tonight, Shane Snyder, letting the drivers know 5 more laps of racing to go.
It's good to see Shane back up on the flag stand. Of course, he was a longtime flagman here. He took over for Jeff Bowen, who returned as the flagman when Shane had some health issues had to be taken care of. And now Shane up there tonight having some fun with the same view he was used to for many years here at Langley Speedway. But these front trucks, Chris Roberts, Hunter Waltrip, Bill Wallace, those 3 trucks right now starting to get closer together. Whoa, as I say that, Bill Wallace has a big wiggle off turn 2 and has to save the truck. He was closing in on Waltrip and had gotten within a half a truck length.
That's a couple of times that pickup truck has almost spun here on the Speedway, but he continues to drive it, sawing on that steering wheel. We're talking about truck number 7, Bill Wallace, who rides in 3rd spot, trying to close in and take that 2nd spot from points leader Hunter Waltrip. They race down through 3 and 4. It'll be just 2 more laps of Saturday night short tracking for the pickups. Don't forget the VA811.com Pro 6 is coming up next, and then it's the big one. We've got the checkerflag.com NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series race. That'll be coming up here in just a bit. Here comes Chris Roberts through 3 and 4. White flag is in the air. 0.4 of a mile to go for the driver who pulls double duty. He's racing back to 1 and 2 for the final time here tonight.
Yes, sir, leading the points here, leading the points in the Pepsi Grand Stock Series. but trying to chase down the point leaders after missing race number 1 on the season, but he's going to make up once again for it on win number, I believe, 6 on the season, or actually 5 on the season for Chris Roberts in the 8 truck.
How about it? Chris Roberts does it here tonight at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, and he'll go for pickup truck win number 5. But get this, his worst finish, a 2nd.
Yeah, he's only batting a 950 or something like that now. So he's going to come back around. But he definitely had his hands full on that first little run. I think Timmy Waltrip's truck did not need that caution. It cooled off the tires enough that that truck wasn't really working well. But, man, you can see the black mark. There was one just right under the Smith Wraps and Graphics logo on our backstretch, that billboard. That was where a modified caught it. The rest of that black mark all came there because of the 33 truck. I mean, he clobbered the fence and he saw the truck actually come off the ground a little bit, and he still stayed foot in it, ran up to the back end of the 8 truck, but just nothing he could do with Chris Roberts tonight in that little bit of race that was left after the caution.
Gave it everything he could and then more. Just comes up a little bit short, about 0.6 of a second short of winning this event. Chris Roberts has done it for the 5th time here in 2022. Points leader Hunter Waltrip comes home in 2nd. Bill Wallace finishes this event in 3rd. Donald Brown comes home in 4th. And rounding out the top 5 is Chris McAvoy. Finishing up in 6th is Chris Spangler. And coming up in 7th is Wayne Lyon. As we watch pickup truck number 8 roll down to Dale Lemon's victory lane. This, my friends, is Chris Roberts. As Buck mentioned, batting super strong here this year. A first, another first, a third first, a fourth first, a 2nd, and now another first.
That's right. Congratulations to Gene Nichols, too. Him and his wife, the owners of this truck, actually finding this young driver to go ahead and pop in here for our buddy Louis Pastoritz. And, man, has he done a great job in Louis' name.
Absolutely. So a big congratulations to Chris Roberts. Let's hear the thoughts of that driver as he climbs from it from our very own Von Crittenden.
That's right, Chris Roberts here in Dale Lemon's victory lane for the 4th time this year. As he gets a quick swig of water, getting unbuckled here. Catching his breath, actually making sure a couple of the switches and different things are in the right position. And race fans, here's your winner, Chris Roberts. Chris getting a handshake from the truck owner, Gene Nichols. Smiles all around here in Dale Lemon's victory lane here, Chris. Obviously, that car was really good, but you and Hunter Waltrip were fighting hard, but it looked like after that caution, you guys really ran away with it.
Yeah, we let the tires go off a little bit. We tried something a little different for qualifying and trying different things, just to try to improve on different areas. And we put it back for the race, but she was still a little tight and make me free off. And Hunter was a whole lot better than I was, but only I could try to do was take his line away and at least get a little gap on him where I could maybe pull away, but he closed it back in. And we got together down there and won on the first, second lap. And good racing, man. He's fast and he's hard to beat. He was there, and I was just waiting for the nose to be stuck inside, and we were going to be door to door. I got a lot of people to thank. All my people, Alan for working on the tires all day, Gene Nichols for letting me drive this thing, Robin Nichols, all my stock guys, Big Worm, my dad, my wife, my kids, my mom, all my family, Big Dave for spotting, Mako, Aham Rose Plumbing for Kenny Kane. And I don't know who I'm forgetting. I'm so pumped up.
All right. Well, congratulations, Chris Roberts, on your win tonight. Chris is going to be getting his trophy now from our sponsor, checkerflag.com and Checker Flag Auto Group, and he's getting it personally from the general manager of Checker Flag, Dave Lawson. Again, love having these guys on board with us this year. And Brian, as Chris Roberts stands here beside his truck in Dale Lemon's victory lane, I just can't help but look and notice how bright and shiny it is under these brand new LED lights.
I tell you, I couldn't agree more. We were just talking, I'm talking with Buck Roos up in the tower. We were just commenting on these beautiful lights and how bright this facility is. Buck, that's just simply incredible.
But it's one of those things where, to quote Buckman Turner Overdrive, you ain't seen nothing yet.
From Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, you're watching Flow Racing.
since he's been the only one who's visited Dale Emmons Victory Lane. So only 2 winners so far this year. Let's see if that can change tonight.
Could change. We'll keep our eyes on that. The top 10 in points coming into tonight's race. Travis Wall leads by 4 markers over that driver you just mentioned, the rookie Donovan Edwards. Mark Edwards, another rookie, is currently third, 15 markers back. And fourth is Nick Lamarche. And how about Chris Bechtel? He's a rookie. He's a rookie in this division, but he did compete for multiple years in our Champ Karts. And let's see what he has in store, because each week that driver gets a little bit stronger. And speaking of rookie Donovan Edwards, he recorded his 6th straight podium finish in the last race when he earned the 3rd place. He's finished no worse than 3rd and won the season opening race back in April. Now he's the only driver other than Travis to get a win here in 2022. There's Chris Bechtel. He received his best finish to date when he came home in the runner-up position. The Hampton racer, who is supported by Mako of Suffolk and West Plumbing, continues to show improvement week after week. And Buck, I want you to help me highlight another driver that's here racing tonight that we didn't necessarily know about until tonight, but the driver that's starting in P2.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's really, pardon me, he's really shown the way getting a lot of racing under his belt in so many different kinds of cars. He's a multi-time, multi-track champion in Bandolero racing, moved up to the Smith Wraps and Graphics Limited Late Models this season here at Langley, which early in the season, he started off undefeated in that. Well, then he jumps into a late model stock car of all days for the Hampton Heat and has a little bit of fun. Well, last Saturday night, he led laps in NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series Late Model Stock Car Competition for the Taylor Waste Services Series here at Langley last week. Raleigh Music is now in a VA811.com Pro 6 machine for Tommy Spencer. The Tommy Spencer Motorsports 71 car you see there on your screen, the red, black, and white, familiar colors of Tommy Spencer's race teams. Now this is the car Brendan Queen, another family member, has already won twice in last year, and he was one of the only drivers to go to Dale Emmons Victory Lane other than Travis Wall. So now Raleigh Music's in that car, the sun's gone down, these lights are up, and it is time to go racing with that young man on the outside pole in his first time in a Pro 6.
It is certainly exciting. Keep your eyes on Raleigh Music, as the indication has been given. We're going green next time around for 20. I make that 30 trips around this racetrack. It's Travis Wall and Raleigh Music on row 1. Row 2 is Chris Bechtel and Mark Edwards. Row 3 is Donovan Edwards and Debbie Biesecker. Nick Lamarche and Gabe Perry on row 4. And Nicholas Hurt dials up the end of the field. Pace truck is going to make the hard left. We're set for 30 trips around this 4/10 of a mile oval. Strap those belts tight. Here we go at Langley.
Oh, it looked like the 71 got a little bit of an extra start, but all he's got to do is back up and give the 44 the top spot. Well, he's going to come off of turn 2 like a rocket. Travis Wall to his inside, Raleigh Music to the outside. 71 car trying to hold on as they come off of turn number 4. Raleigh Music trying to lead his first lap. Nope, Travis Wall says no, sir. 44 leads lap number 1.
Side by side, sparks flying under the cars as they race through turns 1 and 2. The driver who's won the most, your defending champion, trying to make it happen again tonight, has a hard-charging Raleigh Music to his right elbow. Side by side as those cars lean on one another through 3 and 4. And Travis Wall on the pole will now lead lap number 2. But here comes Raleigh Music on the inside off of 2.
Tries the old crossover maneuver, cannot get it to stick down on the apron. Travis Wall solidly in the top spot right now. They mess around with each other enough, and Chris Bechtel's going to be there in no time. The 67 machine is now in your camera shot on the exit of the corner. So here's your top 2 machines off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch.
Travis Wall, the double fours, is in command of this race by about 3 car lengths. Make that 2 car lengths over Raleigh Music, who tries to close that gap in. You go about 5 more back to find Chris Bechtel, who rides along in 3rd, and Donovan Edwards has the 4th spot here at the moment. But Raleigh Music is in race number 1. A good battle here, Buck.
Yeah, Nicholas Hurt and Gabe Perry. Very close call off of turn number 4 last time. And that car, that 14 car, just got wrapped yesterday. Smith Wraps and Graphics just putting that wrap on that car. So almost got him a 014 on it. But beautiful cars, and welcoming Gabe Perry in that 14 to our Pro 6 series.
That's right, his first race with us from Carrollton, Virginia. Having some fun, a rookie here in 2022. Looking forward to racing Pro 6s. He's raced Enduro Series action here with us. and having some fun on a Saturday night. There is your race leader, Travis Wall, over Riley Music. He's beginning to put some distance between the top two. He's now leading by almost a half a second off of turn number 4 as 7 laps now flash on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Music looked like he was holding in tight up there, but once the 44 machine of Wall was able to get the racetrack that he needed to drive the car sweeping into the corners and rotate through the center, that's where Travis Wall's machine started going ahead, and he's pulled away now. Just about an even break between the top 4 machines almost. Travis Wall with about maybe 6 or 7 car lengths over top of Riley Music. Music now about a half a straightaway back to Chris Bechtel's machine, and about the same distance between that back to Donovan Edwards' car. Now he's got Mark Edwards and Debbie Biesecker in tow behind him, the closest 3 machines on the racetrack right now.
Travis Wall working through turns 1 and 2 here as we're almost a third of the way home. He's beginning to put some drivers a lap down, including the 14 of Gabe Perry, who rides in 9th. He goes -1 lap in just his first race. Tonight, I'm sure for Gabe, it's just try to get as many laps as you possibly can log here this evening as we see 3 cars racing through turns 3 and 4. This is positions 4, 5, and 6. Donovan Edwards in that yellow 26. The 02, that's the blue and white car being piloted by rookie Mark Edwards. And Debbie Biesecker in that car number 4, a longtime competitor here in the VA811.com Pro 6 division. She has certainly cut her teeth and raced here for many, many years, and she certainly has a lot of fun.
Definitely, yeah, that entire race team is a blast. If you ever get a chance to meet them out here at the racetrack, they're always great. She will always be just as generous as she can be with her time to sign a hero card for you or sign a photo. Debbie, a great young lady out here and a great ambassador for the Pro 6 series.
She indeed is, and she likes her interviews. We have some fun every time I talk with her. She's out of Suffolk, Virginia, the Midlife Crisis Racing, and she'll quickly tell you they are the oldest team at Langley. I didn't say that. She'll tell you that, and she actually put that on her driver card as Debbie Biesecker. Certainly racing strong right now. She has completed 13 laps of this 30-lap event in position number 6 as our leader has pulled out to a second advantage. As you see the 26 car, Donovan Edwards, also getting around the Gabe Perry car down the backstretch.
It's going to be Mark Edwards having to go all the way down on the apron of the racetrack to make a move on the inside of Gabe. Gabe's moving up to the outside, the rookie. See the yellow rookie stripe on the back end of that 14 car. So doing a great job, actually, giving the leaders just enough room to go by on the inside, even though sometimes they have to get down on the apron and everything. You're never going to be perfect on your first race. You always have to.
Oh, contact is made in touch 4. Hard hitting the wall for Gabe Perry. His first race after he and Debbie Biesecker get together, Buck.
Yeah, it looked like Debbie got in there a little bit hot, and they both went for that same piece of real estate like you talked about earlier, Brian. And unfortunately, it caught the 14 car right in the driver's door, turned it sideways. And after you get about 10 laps on these slick Hoosiers, because they do run a slick tire on these cars, which means no tread whatsoever, that car just all of a sudden button hooked to the right, and it was just no recovery available for it. So it's a ton of damage to the right front spindle area. The upper and lower A-frames probably bent in that car as it is detached from the control arm. That's definitely for sure right front just pointing at the outside concrete wall.
Tough break. It could have been a lot worse, but Gabe Perry in race number 1 at the halfway mark has made impact with the outside retaining wall coming off of turn number 4 at the entrance of the front stretch after he and Debbie Biesecker get together. That car sailed right towards the outside retaining wall, slammed into it, and that car has now rolled down into the pits. And Von Crittenden, tough break for a driver just cutting his teeth in his first night.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Again, just got that car together. Like you said, Buck, they wrapped it last night. And unfortunately, a quick end to this night for the 14 car is that luckily he was able to drive it off the track. So at least it's rolling in that aspect. But he's being attended to safety right now. Looks like they're just going to push the car to the garage. And that's going to be it for his first race.
Yeah, our safety team, second to none. They were already rolling off of turn 4 when he fired the car back up and took off. You see just a little bit of damage on the left side, a little bit of scrap, so we'll be able to patch that. It's the big damage is on the right front where it actually caught the outside retaining wall. It's going to be a lot of mechanical issues to fix in there. But he's got York County on the move, it looks like, on there as one of the sponsors on that 14 car. So, that team definitely just getting their first start, but obviously not their last. They'll be back for more, and that's for sure. Said he got some accomplishments motocross with Mama at Bud's Creek, so that's pretty cool. And Suffolk Motocross, Langley Speedway Enduro Division Racing, and Rookie of 2022, now also running in this Pro 6 Series. So looking to try to do a little bit more. Gabe Perry getting his feet wet, and most everything was working out pretty good for him, just a little too tight down there in turn 4 that time.
Coming to the CorvetteParts.net restart zone presented by King Parts. One driver, make that now 2 drivers take advantage of the CarMaster's shoe zone by going to the outside. That, of course, is Riley Music in the 71 car and the 02 of Mark Edwards as the field forms down the backstretch now. 15 laps have been completed, 15 more to go in this one. So we've had a lot of fun watching Travis Wall lead this event, but don't count out Riley Music. Riley trying to go to victory lane. Here they come off of turn number 4.
Travis Wall catches him on the snooze button on that restart, though, and it's going to allow Bechtel to get the nose inside of the 71 machine. Now, here comes Music. He's full song off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch as he went through Tom and TJ Keene's restart zone off of turn number 4 here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. And Travis Wall once again setting the pace, but your top 4 a little bit closer together.
Here they go through turns 1 and 2. Travis Wall tries to run away and hide from everybody else. Riley Music trying to close that gap right back in. And Chris Bechtel in the 67 car had a career day the last time these cars raced here on the Speedway with a runner-up spot. He's trying to back that up. Right now, one driver is in that way, though, that being the 71 of Riley Music. And look at Donovan Edwards. He's trying to close in there in car number 26 as he's getting racy here in this second half of the race. He's trying to close in now to Bechtel, follows in his tire tracks through turns 3 and 4. Those cars tucked right against the inside line as they race back to 1 and 2.
A little bit more business mode for the 26 machine, getting a lot of yellow in the rear view mirror of the 67. Bechtel up to the top half of the racetrack, trying to change this line just a little bit, but that's going to allow Donovan Edwards now to put the nose down to the inside of the 67 car. The yellow 26 Danny's Glass Special trying to show that CorvetteParts.net logo to the driver of the 67.
On the inside, it's Donovan Edwards. The 67 of Chris Bechtel could not turn it and keep it all the way pinned to the bottom. That opened the door, allowed Donovan to get in there as we see these cars race side by side. And that's the beauty of this racetrack, Buck. You can race side by side multiple laps, and we see that, sometimes even 3 wide. But indeed, Donovan Edwards will now clear Chris Bechtel, move him up to P3. Bechtel drop kicked back to 4th now as they race back to 1 and 2. And now we're down to just 9 laps remaining in this VA811.com Pro 6 division.
Actually, they've changed our screen to 25 laps, so only 4 laps left to go. So
okay.
It said 30 at the beginning, so I was right there with you until I looked up at that.
So a possible change in the program here as we watch these drivers race through turns 3 and 4. Laps beginning to wind down here in this VA811.com Pro 6 division. But Travis Wall continues to lead as we watch the 3rd place car number 26 roll off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch now as the laps begin to wind down here this evening. And Buck, coming up next, it's the big one. We've got the checkerflag.com 150 with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. And indeed now we are hearing white flag will be displayed next time by as the race is going to be 25 laps as here comes your leader through 4.
Travis Wall. White flag unveils over top of that 44 machine. Shane Snyder waving it. And we got a bunch of junior flagmen and flag women down here across the front of the grandstands. It's pretty neat watching them all. We got our official one who's always here down here, our backup flagman. And here comes Travis Waldo. He's going back to Dale Lemons victory lane. Great run for Riley Music. He starts with a 2nd place finish in his Pro 6 career. Donovan Edwards 3rd, Chris Bechtel 4th, and Mark Edwards doing a great job holding on for a top 5.
How about that? Travis Wall gets it done for the 6th consecutive race. That's right, 6 consecutive wins now for Travis Wall as he tries to pad that points lead. He gets it done, delivers in a big way tonight, holding off Riley Music by 1.2 seconds at the finish line to put that 44 car back down in Dale Lemons victory lane. The Crossroads Cleaners, the driver out of Chesapeake, Virginia, has won here tonight. He's going to spin that car around, do the Polish victory lap. We'll salute with the race fans here as he has that NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series checkered flag out the driver's side window. The fans celebrate. They're cheering here tonight as, again, Travis Wall has done it. And I'll tell you, Buck, you work hard, and he'll tell you real quick, we've worked hard, we've cut our teeth, we've had a lot of races we didn't like, but we're earning them now.
Yeah.
We're getting those wins, and we're going to enjoy every minute of it.
Well, I mean, the 2021 champ, you know, he's taking care of business, that's for sure. Of course, Jared Clark able to take care of a couple of championships out here before, and this 44 car, that was the guy he had to try to beat a few years ago. And Jared moving up to late model stock cars, getting ready to bring his own car out and run with us. But Travis Wall, he's just been dominant in this Pro 6 Series.
He indeed has. He's getting ready to climb from that car and do some more celebrating here tonight as he has won the VA811.com Pro 6 division. Let's go trackside now to Von Crittenden.
That's right, Travis Wall, just a routine visitor here at Dale Evans Victory Lane in these VA811.com Pro 6s. As he secures another victory on his way to another championship in this division. This 44 just almost unbeatable when it comes to running here at Langley. As Travis gets unbuttoned here, he's going to get everything undone and join us here in Victory Lane in just a second. But guys, you're really not going to want to miss the driver introductions for this checkerflag.com 150 got coming up. So real quick, go take a bathroom break, get something to eat real quick, but be sure to be in the grandstand when we start these driver introductions for a special presentation. And race fans, here's your winner, Travis Wall. Don't backflip. Please don't backflip. We want you out here for the next race. Anyway, come to the front of the car real quick, Travis. A few different competitors in this one tonight. You had Raleigh Music there in the 71. We've always known that's a fast car, but at the end of the day, you were able to pull it off once again.
It's a fast car, and it's a good little driver right there. If you all watch these limited late models out here, them guys put on a hell of a show. So, I mean, it's cool for them to come out here and run in our class. I love seeing all the other different drivers from different, classes in our field out here. So, that's a fast car, it's a fast driver, and I'm happy that I beat it.
All right, sounds good, Travis. Well, I know there's a lot of people that help you make these races work in and out when you come out here.
Oh, yeah, first off, my mom and dad, obviously, the huge support there. Donnie pulled him out of retirement, got him the spot for me. What a great job he did. Too bad we didn't get to crack any more jokes than we could have, but would have been good with that. I got to thank my sister for coming out tonight. Awesome. We didn't have our normal help this week, so she was able to make it. Obviously, Crosswood Cleaners, great sponsor for us this year and helping us out. And got to thank the race fans. Virginia 811. Always forget to thank the guy in the windshield. Thank you for sponsoring the class. We all. Sorry, I broke the mic. Oh, there we go. But Virginia811.com. I mean, great sponsor for the class, and yeah, looking forward to our heat race next race.
All right, sounds good. Well, there's your winner for the. Oh,
of course, the Marty Strickland motor that pulled it all the way to the finish around here. So that's a pretty good piece too.
That's probably a good one to thank the horsepower under the hood. Here's your winner, Travis Wall. And he's going to get his trophy from tonight's sponsor, checkerflag.com, from the general manager of Checkered Flag Auto Group, Dave Lawson. And Brian Buck, the moment is almost here. But before we throw the green flag on this race, we have a massive presentation to show you here at Langley Speedway. Guys, it's going to be unlike anything you have ever seen at a racetrack.
We are ready. We're so excited. We know race fans, you are ready as well. A big congratulations to all of our support division winners here this evening. Jimmy Atkins gets it done in the old school video game Super Streets. Chris Roberts with yet another one in the Harris Truck Shop Super Trucks. And we just watched Travis Wall win the VA811.com Pro 6 division. Thank you for tuning in to Flow Racing. Hang tight. We've got the big one coming up next. The checkeredflag.com 150 with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is coming up next. At Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in Connecticut. Craig Lutz of Miller Park, New York, won the Phoenix Communications 150 for his first victory and fourth of his career. Let's go trackside to Von Crittenden for pre-race ceremonies.
And we're down here in Dale Evans Victory Lane at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, where they are debuting brand new Musco LED lights that are going to be, for the first time ever, used in this race tonight. And that's going to be including a very special surprise that'll be debuting in just a moment, where there'll be a lot of different effects, colors, music that's going to definitely dazzle this crowd.
We are excited to be here. It's been a long time in the making. Vaughn Crittenden, it's been a great night, and Buck Roos, we're ready to go. Pre-race ceremonies are getting ready to take place.
Yes, sir, Brian. 19 drivers took time. Everything from the now hot shoe to the legends of this series, all here tonight on this 410 Mile facility in Hampton, Virginia, ready to take on one another for 150 laps of top competition underneath checkeredflag.com.
Let's go trackside.
And we have Vaughn. What are you doing to me, Vaughn? Okay, here we go. And tell everybody your name and what you do.
Jason Miner with Thompson Consultant Engineers was the engineer that helped do all this.
Right. A lot of work that went behind this. We have the senior city councilman for the city of Hampton that helped us make this all happen as well. Billy Hobbs, thanks for coming out.
Oh, man, I'm glad to be here. I love the new lights. It was worth every penny.
And ladies and gentlemen, the president, the owner of Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, my good buddy, Mr. Bill Mullis, everybody.
Thank you, Chuck. It's great to be here with all the fans of Modified Tour, and I want to thank these guys, these engineers, Musco. You guys are going to see something absolutely amazing. And I'm the kid that always had like a slot car engine plugged into the wall, and my room was on fire. So I love big electricity and what they've done here. It's really good stuff. Thank you, guys.
Now, in a moment, we're going to throw the switch, because you've seen the new lights, and they're incredible. Do you like them, race fans? Do you like them? One of the big things is y'all are a lot of pretty people. We never realized that because it was so dark, but y'all are beautiful people, and thank you for coming out tonight to watch this big event. Also, Dave Lawson from checkerflag.com. Want to appreciate your sponsorship here tonight. We have the Martinsville Pace Car is going to lead us in parade laps, and Casey Wyatt, the number 29 lay model, sponsored by Checkered Flag, will lead us in some parade laps tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the magic. Here's the top secret. Are you ready? That don't sound very good. That's okay. I'm going to be singing Elvis for the next 30 minutes. Are you ready? All right, let's count it down. 5, 4, 3. Hold on a second. Hold on. Get ready, Justin. Okay, he's holding the wires and the duct tape together. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Uh-oh, something happened.
Race fans, are you ready to meet the stars of the checkeredflag.com 150 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series race? I think they're ready. Let's meet the stars of tonight's field. Rolling off in position number 19 from Hull, New Jersey. Race fans, for the first time in 2022 and making his 626th career start, Jamie Tomeno. Starting outside of row number 9 from East Haven, Connecticut, Walter Sutcliffe Jr. Starting in position number 17 from Wakefield, New Hampshire. Put your hands together for Melissa Fifield. Starting in position number 16 from Ronkonkoma, New York, Gary McDonald. Starting in position number 15, from Calverton, New York, Ken Hagee. Starting in position number 14, outside the 7th row, from Center Reach, New York, J.R. Bertuccio. Starting inside row number 7, from Vernon, Connecticut, Gary Putnam. Starting outside row 6 from Holtsville, New York, J.B. Fortin. Starting inside row 6 from Bay Shore, New York, Kyle Bonsignor. And now your top 10 starters. From Riverhead, New York, in position number 10, driver of car number 58, Eric Goodell. Starting inside row number 5, from Ontario, New York, it's Tommy Catalano. Outside of row number 4, from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, meet Kyle Ebersol. Starting in position number 7, from Rehoboth, Massachusetts, it's the rookie competitor, Jake Johnson. Outside of row number 3 in tonight's checkeredflag.com 150, from Miller Place, New York, let's meet Craig Lutz. On his inside, battling for a championship in 2022, from Norwalk, Connecticut, Ryan Silk. And now your top 4 starters for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150. Rolling off P4 this evening, from Chelmsford, Massachusetts, John McKennedy. John McKennedy also battling for a championship. Starting position number 3 this evening, from Northampton, Pennsylvania, another rookie competitor in 2022, Austin Beers. And now the front row for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150 on the outside pole. From Holtsville, New York, a multi-time champion, Justin Bonsignor. And race fans, let's meet the pole setter for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150. Also a multi-time, 6-time champion from Milford, Connecticut, Doug Kobe. And that, race fans, is the starting field for tonight's big one, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series, as it makes its thunderous return to southeastern Virginia.
And I got to tell you, Austin Beers in that 64, he's the top qualifying Sunoco rookie of the race right now to start out from the 3rd position. His first trip to Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Great qualifying effort for the 64 machine. But man, look at that front row. Doug Kobe and Justin Bonsignor, the 7 and 51 machines. They're going to get belted in, and they're going to try to hold off this powerhouse field of 19 cars. Jamie Tomeno in the 99, what a history he has had, over 600 starts in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Got to watch him in plenty of races growing up. A lot of these drivers cutting their teeth coming through right now. 2 rookies in this field running for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year honors this year in 2022. And that is Austin Beers in the 64 and Jake Johnson in the 3 machine. Those 2 drivers starting inside the top 7 as rookies here at Langley. So they're going to find out what it's like to try to hold these machines under them for 150 laps. I think about by the time we reach lap 75, they're going to definitely get their education.
Absolutely. We cannot wait to watch this happen here this evening. It's been a long time in the making, and finally tonight it is the big night as the season begins to wind down. Just 4 more races remain following this evening's event as the season wraps up at nearby Martinsville, Virginia, just down the road here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia in the month of October. Now, winners this year include John McKennedy, of course, your point standings leader, Anthony Nasello, Jimmy Blewett, that is, Kyle Soper, and Justin Bonsignor. Mike Christopher Jr., Doug Kobe, and Matt Hirschman have all visited Winner's Circle this year, so we'll see who's able to do it here tonight. And, of course, it would be a big one. This is the 3rd time the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Series has rolled into town, and the previous 2 winners not competing tonight, including the defending winner, Ryan Preece.
Yeah, I tell you, it's something else to watch these drivers. The last time we were here, that was when Ryan Preece was making his announcement that he was actually going cup racing. So that was mighty interesting. That's 4 years ago. And Ryan now floating between rides, trying to figure out where he's going to land right at the moment. A lot of people said Stuart Haas, but I don't think we're going to find out exactly what's going to happen with him, because it's nice to see some contracts being signed up there. But right now, this NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, we've seen these cars at New Smyrna. We've seen them at Martinsville. We've watched them on Riverhead on FlowRacing.com. We've watched all kinds of great racing all season long in these modifieds. Like you said, 4 races left to go. The points battle's so tight. John McKennedy, you talked about him, the 79 machine. He will start from outside of row number 2 tonight. So a lot of these drivers really cutting their teeth here on this 4/10 mile facility in Hampton, Virginia, to try to see what they're going to do. The asphalt's a little worn. It's that perfect racing scenario you always hear a lot of the analysts talk about. Worn asphalt makes for the best racing, because you got to try to find the grip. You got to make the grip happen for the race car. And this track, it's one of those fun ones. You come down the front stretch and you can see the black mark. It never stops turning. There's really no straightaway here on the back or the front, unless you physically look at the track and you go, okay, that's the back stretch, this is the front stretch. The cars angle off of turn number 2 after making 2 sets of turns down in 1 and 2. You drive down into turn 1, you have to angle the car, then you have to turn a second time. You pretty much aim right for the center of the backstretch, and you'll see a few black marks back there on the wall right now, already pre-race. They've already been put there during practice. So that's your center angle to go down into turn 3, and right there what you're seeing on your screen, you rotate right down and get those left side tires on the apron, and you aim for the front stretch start-finish line, and that's a lap around Langley Speedway. And if you can get that done 150 times to the best and most optimum way, we're going to be talking to you in Dale Lemons Victory Lane.
We'll find out how it all happens here tonight 150 times around this 4/10 mile oval. As you just heard from Buck Bruce, you're constantly turning, even on the straightaways, which aren't so straight. We can't count out 6-time champion Doug Kobe. Of course, he's rolling off from the pole position. He dominated the inaugural NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour event back in 2017. He led 134 of the 150 laps until misfortune relegated him to a 15th place finish. Tonight, he rolls off again, P1. Somebody we'll keep our eyes on at car number 7 as he is ready to go here tonight. 19 drivers in total, 2 rookies are ready to go here this evening. It's just a matter of moments. Let's go trackside to fire these engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
That is a checkered flag engine command if I would ever heard one, to crank these machines up, and man, you can feel the tower rumble from the horsepower.
19 cars come to life on the front stretch in Hampton, Virginia at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tours is back, and they're ready to go here this evening. The new Musco lighting system is on. One of the oldest running NASCAR short tracks is back to life here tonight with a top touring series. So glad that you're joining us here this evening. A tight points battle is certainly heating up. John McKennedy of Kilmsford, Massachusetts took over the top spot in the standings following last week's event. He and Ron Silk got together on a couple of occasions that night. Ron suffered damage and finished 12th. He now leads the standings. That is John by Ron by 5 points headed into tonight's contest. The points again heating up not only for the top two, but also Eric Goodell right there ready to mix it up as well. He's just 16 markers back in third. Justin Bonsignor is fourth, and Kyle Bonsignor, his cousin, just 40 markers back in fifth spot. So as you get closer to the end of the season, certainly thinking about those points, and these drivers are.
Yeah, and Kyle Bonsignor starts from the 11th starting spot. He's back there with J.B. Fortin, Gary Putnam, and J.L. Bertuccio, who all have laps around this racetrack. And we've seen them drive through the field, especially Bertuccio. A couple of times ago, I think he was in here in 2017, had a solid run, drove his way up into the top three, had a small issue, had to come from the back of the pack again, drove himself back into the top three by the finish. So the two machine, don't count him out. He knows how to get around this racetrack, even though he's starting on the outside of row number 7. As we look down at Kyle Bonsignor's 22 machine right into the wheelhouse, he'll be holding on to that steering wheel and try to work his way around this 4/10 mile of Langley Speedway to the best of his abilities. That's for sure. That 22 car, once again, don't count him out. There is Doug Coby, and he's got that Richie Evans sticker right on the top left of the windshield. The legend himself, Hall of Famer Richie Evans, that orange 61 machine, we always saw it. And man, you can't say enough about Tom Baldwin and Tommy Baldwin, the owner of this car. The 7NY emblazoned on the side of his machine, celebrating his dad, Tommy Baldwin, the car owner. Championship crew chief of the Daytona 500, Cup team car owner in the past. His heart has always been right here underneath these modifieds with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Touring Series, and that is that 7NY machine, and it is on the pole.
Tommy Baldwin Racing has won 4 events this year, more than any other team, and currently leads the team owner standings. Of course, Doug Coby piloting that car tonight. Also, Mike Christopher Jr. and Jimmy Blewett have all went to winner's circle. Track backs here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway as it celebrates its 72nd season of competition in the beautiful city of Hampton in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's .397 or 4/10 around. Banking just 6 degrees in the turns, 2 degrees on the straightaways, and it's plenty wide to go 2 and 3 wide. Langley has been home to stock car racing's biggest names like Richard Petty, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, and former track champion Denny Hamlin. The NASCAR Cup Series has even competed over here many times throughout the years. The field now rolling down the backstretch as we prepare for tonight's checkeredflag.com 150.
Yes, sir, that front row right there, we've talked about it continuously today because they are so dominant. Their record proves it. The championship's just across the front row of Doug Coby in the 7NY machine and Justin Bonsignor in the 51. The second row with Austin Beers in that 64, a Sunoco Rookie of the Year candidate, and the top qualifying rookie in the 64 machine to his outside. John McKennedy, we see him in the 79 there. As we go back through our field, Ron Silk in that 16. We talked about his wins this year with Craig Butts in the 82 to his right shoulder. Right out the right side of that car. A couple of great competitors that have shown some serious muscle in 2022. Jake Johnson, the 3 machine, another run of the Sunoco rookie candidates, starting inside of row number 4 in that 3 machine with Kyle Ebersol in the 5. Always a threat every racetrack for that 5 machine out here. 9th and 10th starting spots, we'll find Tommy Catalano, in the 54, and Eric Goodale in the 58, who won at Richmond Raceway earlier this year, so trying to keep his Virginia streak alive. Kyle Bonsignor, we talked about the 22 car driver, starts 11th with J.B. Fortin to his right elbow in the 34. Gary Putnam, he's been a strong candidate here at Langley in the past in the 77. He's got J.R. Bertuccio in the 2 car to his outside. Ken Higgy in the 18 machine, and Gary McDonald start in row number 8. They'll start 15th and 16th in the 18 and 26 cars. Melissa Fifield in the number 01 machine with Walter Sutcliffe Jr. to her outside in the 78. And Jamie Tamano, we talked about him all night long. Jimmy Tamano, pardon me, a legend in the sport. Cheered him on a lot at Martinsville Speedway when I was a little kid. Awesome to see him down on pit road here at Langley Speedway today.
And speaking of that driver, we're talking about Jamie Tomeno. He makes his 626th career start, his first one here in 2022. Somebody to keep your eyes on. 7 drivers, including Jamie, will make their first appearance here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Should make for a very interesting race. And a couple of those drivers also making their first start. It's the points championship battle between John McKennedy and Ron Silk as they continue to circle around this 4/10 of a mile oval. In a matter of moments, we're going to turn them loose and see who can get it done here this evening as Doug Covey right there with Justin Bonsignor ready to do battle as the gloves are going to come off here in just a matter of moments, and it is going to be a fun one here tonight.
Yep, checkerflag.com, haggle-free, commission-free, 3-day money-back guarantee. Official sponsor of tonight's event, checkerflag.com. They've got your next new ride. These rides out here on the racetrack, though, premiumly built. We've got Fury race cards, Troyers, bowlers. We've got all kinds of different builds of cars out here, but they're getting ready to go after each other. LFR chassis, and they're ready to go racing. Brian, it looks like the lights are off atop the pace truck. The Thunder's about to be unleashed on Langley Speedway.
Lights are off the pickup truck as it leads the field as they form through turns 1 and 2. 19 thunderous NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour cars are ready to go to battle here this evening. Somebody is going to go to winner's circle. We're going to find out who it is. Kyle Ebersol, that is, from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, is the only competitor in tonight's field that has won a Modified Tour race here in the past. Pace truck hits pit lane. We're set for 150 laps of competition. Green flag is out. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour returns to Hampton, Virginia.
Feel the Thunder as they roll down into turn number 1. Off of turn number 2, it's going to be Doug Covey on the brake. A great run on the outside, but Justin Bonsignor will fall down into the 2nd position.
Good battle for 3rd as they race through turns 3 and 4. Right there, that is Austin as he takes that car on the inside. Austin Beers, they work off of turn number 2 as they continue to go side by side. Of course, that's Justin Kennedy. He's trying to capture as many points as he possibly can.
Beers does not want to give up that 3rd spot. He's fighting back on the inside. He's got Kennedy on the outside trying to hang tough. They're still wheelhouse to wheelhouse, working their way through turn 3. Now swinging off of turn 4. These wide tires outside. Long top line still trying to take over that 4th spot. A little bit of dirt bar play between the 3rd and 4th place machines.
They continue to go side by side here on this racetrack to do that. Because right now, the one-car track
but there, as they come down into turn number 3, they work their way off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. Stuck on the outside, looks to be the 54 machine, of Tommy Catalano. He's stuck on the outside of the racetrack. Goodale looked to his left elbow, trying to get by. A little bit of contact. They roll down into turn number 3. Now here comes Bonsignor. Not Jason Preston Bonsignor, but Kyle Bonsignor making the move, working to the inside of Kyle Ebersol. They'll trade spots on the racetrack. That looks like for about 7th place.
Tommy Catalano started the event in 9th. He's right now running in 11th spot. Cannot get the car turned down at the bottom. He's from Ontario, New York. In that 54 car, trying to cut down there. Can't do it. Here comes J.B. Ford in the 34 car as they go by on turns 1 and 2. Here they come closer to the front. A good battle there. You see Austin Beers rides along in 3rd spot. You've got the points down. He's got his 2nd. That's Ron Silk in the 16 car. Trying to beat down the bottom. Couldn't quite do it. Falls in line behind the 64 cars. They work down the backstretch as they continue to chase that 51 car. Justin Bonsignor, he rides in 2nd. About 3 car lengths behind race leader Doug Covey.
J.B. Ford on the attack on Eric Goodale right now. Looked underneath him into turn number 3. Thought better of it, Whelen line. Now a little bit of clanking on the Nerf bars on the front end and back end of those two machines. They ride right behind the 3 of Jake Johnson on the racetrack. A little bit of a backstretch, a little bit more of a better run to the bottom of the facility for Ford. He's got those left sides right down on that apron, and he'll complete the pass off the Ford.
Up to position number 10, talking about J.B. Horton, that 34 car. Following in his tire tracks is the 54 car. That's J.B. Horton trying to get down there as well. Strapped on the high side, car number 58. Works through turns 3 and 4. But now 13 laps on the scoreboard here this evening. Let's go. Whelen modified tour at Hamlin's Langley Speedway. Watching the 34 car work down the backstretch. That's J.B. Horton and Tommy Catalano. And car number 44 as they work through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Catalano got trucked up on the outside early on. He's trying to make up some of those spots right now, but it looks like Fortin's able to really run. But there is your leader right now, Doug Covey. That 7NY machine. He's set on the pole, and he has led every lap thus far. 15 laps now in the books for the NASCAR Whelen Modifieds here tonight at the checkeredflag.com 150. So they got to get to lap 75 before they even hit halfway tonight. We usually have 75 or 50 lap runs by most race series out here. Tonight, 150 laps for this touring series as they come in the NASCAR Roots program. And man, Doug Covey and Justin Bonsignor have led the way since the drop of the green flag. What a great run still by the rookie candidate right now of Austin Beers. He held off a hard-charging Ron Silk a few laps ago, and now it looks like it's time to log some laps here at Langley Speedway.
Here's the race leader, Doug Covey, who dominated this race a few years ago. It was the inaugural event, led multiple laps. Tonight, he's trying to back it up and actually get the win. There is car number 16, Ron Silk, battling it out with Craig Lutz in the 82 car. As, looks like a car in the wall, hard in the wall in turns 3 and 4.
That's Bertuccio.
So car number 2 and the 26 of Gary McDonald go around. So at least 2 cars involved in our first incident, and that slows us here early on lap number 18.
And telltale smoke coming out of the header pipes of J.R. Bertuccio's machine, and he's going to drop the window nuts. So he is definitely done for the night. Saw a ball of flame come out from underneath the hood of that machine. The young man in the number 2 car climbing out, definitely not a happy camper. Making sure that nothing is still on fire in the number 2 car. So the Center Reach New York Gershow Recycling number 2 looks like it's going to be the first car out of the event tonight for the checkeredflag.com 150 lap event.
This is the second start for J.R. Bertuccio here in this 2022 season. It's his first start here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. In his first 37 tour starts, he has 1 top 10 finish at Riverhead Raceway in 2019. Unfortunately, he will not back that up here this evening.
And remember, when they do have their break, when they enter pit road, they'll exit the same way. So it's not like the Cup Series when you come in and it's just a battle and whoever comes off first. You enter pit road and exit pit road in the same positions. It's called a controlled caution, and so they'll be able to do such a thing when we get our race break. So once again, it is Doug Covey out front. Definitely a view he's used to in his career. 6-time champion leading our 3-time champ right behind him, Justin Bonsignor. And once again, the top 3 pretty much staying the same right now. Austin Beers, the rookie, the Sunoco rookie candidate, runs in the 3rd position. And right behind him, Ron Silk made a couple of quick moves. He had dropped back about 2 or 3 spots early on, made a couple of inside moves and brought that 16 car back up inside the top 4. And right behind him was going to be the 82 of Craig Lutz, who was another driver who got a little bit squirrely right on the opening lap. Tried to come down, and he came right up, I believe it was Kyle Ebersol's machine. He came right across the front bumper bar of, had a little bit of a wiggle, saved the car, and he's a solid top 5 right now in that 82.
So Gary McDonald was the 2nd car involved in that incident. He has been able to roll on. Gary McDonald in his 15th year of competition finished 17th back in the 2018 event. Did not suffer as much damage as, of course, J.R. Bertuccio, who has retired from that event. That car continues to set against the outside retaining wall in turns 3 and 4. Yellow flag number 1 here early on in this event. Just 22 laps have been completed. Again, Doug Kobe is in command of this race and has set a pretty good pace here early on.
Yeah, and you see pit road is closed, just like you can see sometimes in the Cup Series. They have a red flashing light. Well, what they used to do is the same thing we have here at Langley tonight, and that's a gentleman standing down there at the entrance of pit road with a flag. Now the green flag will come out, so pit road will be open this time, but last time he had that red flag with that yellow X on it. That lets these drivers know you cannot enter pit road without penalty. So right now, you see the green flag unfurling, so next time by, if some of these drivers about probably mid-pack on back want to make at least an adjustment, not so much put a brand new tire on or fill up with fuel or nothing like that just yet, but if they'd like to go ahead and maybe throw a wrench in there, crank on it a couple of times, and it looks like we are going to have some takers starting with the 3 of Jake Johnson. That car, as soon as they threw the green flag, it did not want to get into the racetrack. It was dancing all over the place on the young driver. So like I said, there goes the wrench into the adjustment, and they're going to put 1, 2, 3 rounds into the right rear of that car, so she was tight. Needed to loosen it up a little bit. Going to drop it down into the left side of the chassis and making a full wholesale adjustment on the rear end of that machine. Gary Putnam also coming down pit road in the 77.
Walter Sutcliffe Jr. also in pits here in this very, very early yellow flag after 23 laps.
Yes, and we're going to see if these cars can roll forward now after these adjustments. But it was no surprise to see the 3 of Jake Johnson, one of our Sunoco Rookie of the Year contenders, come down pit road after starting in 7th, had drifted all the way back in the field to where he was running around 9th or so. And he and J.B. Fortin were really getting a lot of bumper tag out there. They were playing with those front horns you see on this car, the Nerf bars across the front end to the back end of that 3 machine. And he was holding on for everything he had to make sure he could stay ahead of him in about 8th or 9th place out there. And man, this caution flag couldn't have come at a better time for him. 24 laps in. Once again, caution flag laps do count, so you got to keep an eye on that when they come down pit road. Unlike when we saw our first 3 divisions of the night where cautions don't, anything over 100 laps, caution flags count.
Gary McDonald is back down pit road. He scored in the 18th position. That was a car that actually spun with J.R. Bertuccio here to bring out our first yellow flag. Yeah. So continuing to circle behind the pace truck at a much reduced speed. Cleanup happening over in turns 3 and 4. Speedy Dry has been applied to the racing surface to help get the moisture up. So this, we see the race officials down there working through as the lights blinking on the pace truck, indicating there will be at least a couple of more laps or so before we turn this field loose once more. As great action early on, Doug Kobe has been in command of this race over Justin Bonsignor, who currently rides along in second. And Austin Beers, as you mentioned, Buck Roos, a top rookie right now, running in 3rd spot. The other rookie in the field was just down pit road. That was Jake Johnson in car number 3. And there you see the other driver that took advantage of this most recent caution to come down pit lane. That was Gary Putnam. So again, drivers making some adjustments, especially early on. If the car's not handling to your liking when you're under the caution flag, you definitely want to come down pit lane and take advantage of that.
Yeah, Gary McDonald, it looked like he's running coilovers because the gentleman had one of those arced wrenches where it locks into the top of the coilover, drives the spring down. It means the shock goes down the center of the spring instead of having the shock out separate and then the spring setting in a bucket on the front end of the car. They're both one piece in unity. So the shock goes down through the middle and you drive the spring down on to the shock mount a little bit harder to get stiffness or let out a little bit. And it looked like he was putting in maybe about 2 rounds into that right front on that 26 car to try to get it more down into the track a little bit with that right front. Maybe the car a little bit too loose on exit, wants to tighten it up maybe from the center off to get a little bit of roll in the 26 machine.
Again, drivers talking it over with their crew chiefs, making the necessary adjustments. Several top runners elected not to come down pit lane, that is. They wanted to stay out on the racing surface so they don't lose track position. As again, we're early on in a 150-lap event. Just 26 have been completed. Cleanup almost completed over there in turns 3 and 4. As again, we continue to see Doug Kobe at the head of the field as he's trying to make it happen here tonight. Something like redemption, particularly when you dominate an event, Buck Roos, and you have problems right at the end of the event. You don't leave the property real happy.
No, not at all. And Doug Kobe has dominated many a race here, but he wants to get to Dale Emmons victory lane. Like you said, your leader is Doug Kobe in the 7. Justin Bonsignor in the 51 runs 2nd. Austin Beers in the 64 3rd. Ron Silk in the 16 4th. Craig Lutz in the 82 runs 5th, with John McKennedy in the 79 and 6th spot. Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 7th. and Kyle Ebersol in the 5 runs 8th. J.B. Fortin hanging on to 9th place after a great drive towards the front in the 34 machine. Tommy Catalano in the 54 machine runs 10th. Eric Goodale in the 58 runs 11th, with Ken Hagee in the 18 12th, and Jamie Tomeno in the 99, who started shotgun on the field, 19th. He is 13th right now. Melissa Fifield in the 01 machine runs in the 14th spot, with Jake Johnson, Gary Putnam, and Gary McDonald and Walter Sutcliffe Jr. all coming down pit road. Our only retiree from the event after engine woes is J.R. Bertuccio in the 2 machine.
Interesting enough, you talked about Doug Kobe in car number 7 near the front of the field. He's led 294 laps this year. That's the most of any other competitor so far this season. So that car right at the front where you need it to be. He has an average finish this year of 5.1. So the 6-time champion who's won a title in 2012, backed it up in 14, 15, all the way through 16 and 17. His most recent title came back in 2019. So he's ready to do it again. 33 career NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour wins. Doug Kobe, always a threat to win here.
Yeah, usually driving his 10 machine, but we heard him talk after he won the pole earlier today about how he's been driving a little bit for Tommy Baldwin here and there, and they had such good success with him in their car that Tommy's like, hey, I got a good wheel man. I got a good race car here. Let's put them together a few more times. So he didn't even know really early on in this season that he was going to be driving the 7NY car tonight. But it came through. They put the deal together. He's here. He's on the pole. And so far, 29 laps on the board, and they've all belonged to Tommy Baldwin Racing.
Doug Kobe on a week-to-week basis to figure out if he's going to ride in this car or not. Just celebrated his 43rd birthday last Thursday. How sweet would that be to take that car to winner's circle? Lights have went off the pace truck. We're set to go back green flag racing. Again, it's Doug Kobe, Justin Bonsignor on row 1, Austin Beers and Ron Silk on row 2. Coming to the restart here at lap number 30. Pace truck makes the hard left. The field now in command. Green flag is out. Racing returns in Hampton, Virginia.
Solid restart by both front row drivers, but it looks like it's going to be Beers with the advantage over Bonsignor now. The 64 machine to the bottom of the racetrack. Tight battle for the second spot. They make a little contact. Both cars wiggle. They come through the stage run. Bonsignor on top of second.
Bonsignor sideways, as was Austin Beers. They gathered it back together as they work off of turn number 2. A good run for the 22. That driver, Kyle Bonsignor, looks down to the inside as they go side by side a little further back. We're watching Kyle Bonsignor work over John Kennedy. That's a battle for 6th spot. As Craig Lutz has also joined the party just in front of them in car number 82. He's being scored at the moment in 5th spot as they work down the backstretch.
Jamie Fortin's got a rocket ship, buddy. I tell you what, the 34 machine, he's been coming through the field steadily. Now finds his way inside of the McKennedy machine, working to the bottom. He'll go ahead and take that spot. Give him the 7th running position on the racetrack. Here comes Ron Silk. He's looking under Beers off of turn 4.
Eric Goodale also trying to make a pass here as we look closer to the front. Right now, P3, it belongs to Austin Beers. Ron Silk wants it. He falls in line right behind him coming off of turn number 2. There's Eric Goodale in that good mix as they work down the backstretch.
Yeah, Goodale getting a great run on Ebersol down on the bottom of the track, able to make the pass. You see Silk, every time he comes off of turn number 2, he's getting a better and better run on the Beer 64 machine. Now he's got his hands full of Craig Lutz. Lutz all over the back bumper of the 16 machine, and he's got a fast-running Kyle Bonsignor right behind him. But, man, that 34 car, once again, diamonds 3 and 4. And look to the inside of Bonsignor. That is Kyle Bonsignor in the 22. J.B. Fortin is flying around this 4/10 mile facility.
Here they come, working through turns 3 and 4 to put 37 laps on the scoreboard. Single file at the moment. One car looking to get out of line. That is the 34 entry. That being piloted by J.B. Fortin, trying to work over the 22. Puts the nose on the inside. Side by side, they make contact going in turns 3 and 4. J.B. Fortin versus Kyle Bonsignor. J.B. Fortin will take that spot. Move him up now to P6. Kyle Bonsignor falls to 7th. John McKennedy looks on as he looks down to the inside as they race off of 2.
Yeah, John McKennedy was able to get a great run because Bonsignor went 3/4 of the way up the entire embankment down in 3 and 4, trying to save his machine after a little bit of contact. McKennedy's going to have to drop back in line behind Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 machine, and that battle will end just about as fast as it began. But still, your leader, Doug Kobe, out front. Ron Silk trying to do his best as we watch these two machines work around the track of Kyle Bonsignor. And they work down into turn number 1. Man, I tell you what, that battle for third is something else. It's been going since the drop of the green flag with Beers' machine trying to hold off Ron Silk.
One fast race car is Craig Lutz. Right now he occupies the 5th spot as we watch another good battle here on the Speedway. That is the 54 of Tommy Catalano as he is just ahead right now of the 58 car. That's Eric Goodell. That's a battle for positions 10, 11, and 12 as they work over in 3 and 4. There's car number 5. That's Kyle Ebersol as he tries to make his way closer to the front. There's the distance between first and second. The 51 car of Justin Bonsignor is in second. Right now behind him in third is Austin Beers, who continues to set a good pace early on in this event.
Yeah, Austin Beers right there in that green and yellow, green and gold and orange, white top 64 machine with that bright silver and bright rocket red number 16 of Silk. Ron Silk right behind him. Greg Lutz had driven his orange machine right up to the back end of that silver car for a couple of laps, and now they've sort of separated by about a car length and a half. Doug Covey's going to start catching lap traffic here in about maybe 4 more laps. A few cars up ahead of him as we watch Ron Silk's machine roll down into the corner. And like I said, you want to try to get those left side tires right on the stripe, if not down actually on the apron on the exit of turn number 4. You'll see Silk roll in right here, and there's where you got to actually turn a second time. You see the wheels actually arc just a little bit, and he drives down into turn 3 here, gets it right down on the yellow stripe, gets those left side tires just a little bit of a kiss on the apron. That lap around Langley was a great lap around Langley for the 16 machine. Now it's going to be some lap traffic, and Austin Beers has a little bit of trouble getting around the 01 machine.
That's Melissa Fifield from Wakefield, New Hampshire, as now the 16 car of Ron Silk is able to bypass her on the outside. Now Ron Silk has a 17 NASCAR modified Tour career wins, although he's winless here in 2022. His last win came in September up in the great state of New York. He's trying to change that stat here in 2022. The most recent winners behind him and Craig Lutz as they work off of turn number 4 and back to turn 1. Watching Kyle Bonsignor, that 22 car. He rides the tire tracks there of J.B. Fortin and car number 34 as they race in position 6 and 7.
They worked around some lap traffic there, and Fortin having a little bit of trouble working through the center of 1 and 2 around that traffic. Allowed Bonsignor to roll right back up on the back end of the 34 car. He was about less than a half a car length off the back end of Craig Lutz just a couple of laps ago, and you see how much trouble he had with the lap traffic. Now it's 2 car lengths trying to catch back up to that orange machine. Fortin trying to get back into his rhythm, get everything back underneath him to try to chase down the 82 machine. And there is that orange and red numeral 82 car. Craig Lutz, what a great run he's had in 2022. One of the drivers that just about anywhere they unload these modified cars is always a top 5 car every time.
And he's right there solidly in position number 5 at the moment as he rides right behind Ron Silk, who occupies the 4th spot. Bottom way around the racetrack, that's the quick way, and everybody tucked down to the inside as they circle this racetrack. Looks like 1/3 of this event is now complete as we watch J.B. Fortin just behind in car number 34, riding in 6th spot with Kyle Bonsignor in tow. He's riding along in 7th spot. One of the drivers we've had our eyes on this evening that has moved his way closer to the front, J.B. Fortin. J.B. Fortin in car number 34 trying to get ever closer to the front. Right now that car is riding along in 6th spot after starting the event in 12th. He's trying to keep the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor at bay.
Yeah, the Holtzville, New York native and his Chevrolet had a great run through the field. That lap traffic, I don't know if it might have caused him to burn the right rear a little bit when he came off of turn 2. Like I said, the car got a little out of shape. It allowed Craig Lutz to drive away from him just a little bit. So Lutz in that 82 car being able to drive away, well, that might have been what happened. He just caught that right rear just right. It doesn't take much here at Langley when you're turning the whole time to overheat that right rear tire, make it so it doesn't want to get back down in the track. And here comes Kyle Bonsignor. He's going by the 34 Fortin, so Fortin's car, definitely the handling's starting to go away now.
So Kyle Bonsignor started 11th, now finds himself inside the top 6, put him up to position 6. So Kyle Bonsignor trying to march his way to the front. There's car number 18 as we see him work through turns 1 and 2 in 13th spot. That's Ken Hagee. He is just behind Jake Johnson in car number 3 as they work through turns 1 and 2. I think that 3 and 4, I should say, here at lap number 57. Single file at the moment. Everybody minding their P's and Q's at the moment as they're trying to log some laps as we get closer to the first half of this event. Watching your point standings leader, car number 79. That's being piloted by John McKennedy from Kilmsford, Massachusetts in the Middlesex Interior Chevrolet. He works off of turn number 2, looking to make a pass there on J.B. Fortin. That would be a battle for 7th spot as they go by on the high side of Melissa Fifield. She's the only female full-time competitor in this division.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, we have a bunch of females racing here at Langley in our regular series, but always good to look through the series and see young ladies and the diversity that's going on all the way even up to the Cup Series. And I love it in NASCAR right now. It is great. We watch it here in the NASCAR Roots. And once again, you can check out all the point systems and everything. Go to NASCAR.com, check the drop-down menu, find NASCAR Roots. Click on that, and you can find everything from your local NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series racing to this NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Look at the point standings, read all the stories, and keep up with these great drivers who entertain us week after week.
Talked about J.B. Fortin marching his way to the front. He's having a hard time trying to keep John McKennedy behind him. Watching cars circle through turns 3 and 4. That is the 34 being piloted by Fortin, trying to keep McKennedy at bay. McKennedy looked briefly to the high side today. I couldn't get by on the inside. Now he'll try to make a run coming off of turn number 2. Puts the nose of the car on the inside, goes side by side in 3 and 4. John McKennedy trying to overtake that 7th spot. Indeed, he'll do so. Fortin cuts back down the inside, but here comes car number 58, Eric Cannell. He's going for that spot as well.
Fortin's car went away wholesale. I don't know what happened, but it happened all at one time. He was up there right behind Craig Lutz. Now he's a complete technical straightaway in a corner behind the 82 car and losing spots wholesale. So I don't know if he really hurt that car trying to work around the lap traffic, if that's exactly what it was. But now he's even in the clutches of Jake Johnson, who came down pit road, the 3 car, making his way by, and Kyle Eversol's right behind him in the 5 machine. So he's coming into your camera view every once in a while. But J.B. Fortin, who looked like, I called it earlier, had a rocket ship. He drove right to the front. Don't know if he might have abused the right front doing so or abused the right rear working on lap traffic. But he's got his hands full right now, that's for sure, out here on this racetrack. Your leader's working traffic masterfully down in turn 3, getting ready to swing off at turn 4. Doug Kobe, you can't say enough about Tommy Baldwin and his team coming here. Here goes the 3-car Johnson. He's going to go to the inside. He's going to go on by Fortin right now. So Fortin not even really putting up a battle right at the moment. I mean, we're not even halfway yet, so don't need to really get into a bare knuckle dragged out fight right now with the car. Right now, fight your car, get to the brake. Let's go into pit road and try to come back out with something a little bit faster. But there's Tommy Baldwin's machine, and with Doug Covey behind the wheel. And we mentioned how much domination Doug Covey's had here in 2022. Jamie Tomeno, the legend, right in front of this 6-time champion, working to his outside now. Tomeno in that bright numeral number 99 car. The 7NY, Doug Covey out front. The 78 machine, Walter Sutcliffe Jr., also in your shot there, trying to work around the outside. Watching these cars make their way down into turns 3 and 4. And there's the 82 machine of Craig Lutz working around the racetrack.
So now 13 cars are on the lead lap. Jamie Tomeno just went -1 as race leader Doug Covey continues to set a blistering pace. His advantage now more than a second and a half over Justin Bonsignor, who rides along in 2nd spot. And watching the 3rd place, Austin Beers, come to life. He's going to work trying to change 2nd position. Austin Beers, car number 64, down the backstretch, looking to try to overtake the veteran racer as they work through 3 and 4. And now they're in lap traffic, so not only do you have to negotiate trying to keep a driver at bay, you got to choose which line to pass the lap drivers, who also are in a battle of their own. Looks like Justin Bonsignor will choose to go to the top side. They are the 78 of Walter Sutcliffe, and we've got a yellow flag on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think I saw debris laying down there in the top entrance of turn 1 and 2, up close to the wall, but still that could have been possibly out there. I didn't see a car go around, but I'd seen in a couple of camera shots, there it is. It looks like it's one of the breather covers laying on the racetrack off the top of one. It's actually the air filter itself laying on the racetrack. I could see that for a few laps, but it was just outside of the actual track. But if you get a couple of bumps, you're right up into that. So caution number 2 for debris.
Yellow flag number 2 flies at lap 73. A debris caution, as you just heard, over in turn 1. No air cleaner for J.B. Fortin in car number 34. That's going to be a tough break for the driver running in 11th spot. And we talked about how he was working his way to the front, and all of a sudden, he started backpedaling.
Well, I'll tell you, that's one thing that a lot of people in engineering will understand completely. The air filter, the engines are built to run an especially very thin, exact mixture of air to fuel ratio. And the way they build these cars and these modifieds, those air filters, the breather covers stick up right up top. That's the carburetor you're seeing sticking out of the top of that hood right there. That's actually the pins that hold in that breather cover, so obviously not getting tightened down. So now nothing but air coming straight in. It's not filtered, it's not held. So that could have been exactly what we've been talking about. And watching him fade, it was a horsepower issue. So they're going to try to probably get another breather cover back on the top of that car to make sure, and then they're going to try to get the bolt loosened up there, and they're going to try to replace that possibly, because like I said, they need an exact fuel to air ratio in these machines, and without that, it definitely affects the horsepower. So you see the young man there working on it, trying to get the bolt out, a brand new bolt going in. So they're going to put a new breather cover on there, and they're going to put a new air filter. So we're going to see the same horsepower coming out of that 34 car that we saw earlier in the night, if they can get that back in here. So they're going to make sure they don't lose a lap, because once again, caution laps do count. So this lap, here they all come. It's wholesale time on pit road, buddy.
All the drivers decide, or most of the drivers decide, to come down pit road, including your race leader, car number 7, Doug Covey, as it looks like tires are being changed here. Everybody down pit road electing to get fresh rubber on these race cars. This track very abrasive. These drivers wanting to get the fresh rubber on there.
So a couple of drivers were electing to go brand new rear tires. Then all of a sudden it looked like a crew chief executive decision on the 7 machine to go full on new right side tires for Doug Covey instead of just doing the rear tires. We've seen that a bunch at Riverhead and different racetracks. They go rear tires because they want the most drive off the corner. Well, you're turning the whole time here. We've well documented that tonight. So they're going to want all brand new right side tires mostly on these cars, and that's exactly what you're seeing all the way up and down pit road. Brand spanking new right side tires to get the most grip and the most action out of these modified cars. Now, the other thing you're going to probably have to look at is you want to tighten the car up a little bit, because now you've got old tires on the left, new tires on the right. Right side's going to be a lot of grip. Left side's going to be trying to float around on you on the entrance of the corners. That's the loosest time on these modified machines. When you're driving it into the corner, it wants to float around, and when you're coming off the corner and you start putting all that horsepower down to the ground, it's trying to dance off the corner on you. So these right side tires, it's going to be fun to see, but right now Doug Covey and Tommy Baldwin and his race team, they've got their number at the moment.
So caution flag number 2, 2 laps prior to the halfway mark. A new air cleaner going on the J.B. Fortin car. Not quite. Looks like it wasn't the right size for the 28-year-old who comes into this race 10th in the championship standings. He's still searching for that first win. And right now he'll come back down on the racetrack to stay on the lead lap, but he will be back down pit road to make that repair on that race car.
That's a development. Kyle Eversol's car is being held on pit road, so I don't know what might have happened down there on pit road during his stop. Don't know if he might have ran over equipment, ran over an air hose or something like that. Some of that still comes into play even with the modified tour here for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. So this is an interesting development right here for a young man who's, and now the go sign finally coming out.
We do have a 50-50 winning ticket. It's worth $1,023 for the Scottish Rite group. Go down and visit the Scottish Rite table. The winning ticket number is 186219. That's 186219. Please go to the Scottish Rite table. You have won the 50-50. Yellow flag number 2 here at Hampton, Virginia's Larry King Law's Langley Speedway because of debris on the racetrack coming from this driver from Holtsville, New York, J.B. Fortin in car number 34. As lap after lap they try to make the repair. It looks like it has been completed. That car now rolls. He'll be coming back out on the racetrack, but did he lose a lap there, Bud?
Yes. Unfortunately, the team was trying to get the breather cover on there. They got the right size nut this time. He had one of those Twizzlers. He was just going as fast as he could, and when he tried to pull it back, the piece of ratchet stayed right on there. The socket stayed on there, so he reached and tried to grab it. Unfortunately, these things have some huge Nerf bars on them. Caught him a little bit on the leg and turned him a little bit sideways. You see him try to grab it right there, but unfortunately he ends up sitting on the race car, and about this time the leaders go down the front stretch. So J.B. Fortin's going to have to fight back from a lap down or hopefully get the lucky dog now. But that crew doing a whale of a job. You see the extra air cover on the ground, but they had to put one on this car. And now they've got to try to get it really turned straight, more than likely. but it looks like we're getting the 1 to go signal. So the way they are is the way they are going to be. You see a couple of cars getting their free passes back onto the lead lap, or at least a lap back out here on the racetrack, and it's time to go back to the checkeredflag.com. 150. We're 80 laps in now, buddy.
Field is being re-racked as we get set to go back racing. Coming to the green flag here at lap number 81. Doug Kobe will restart as the race leader. Justin Bonsignor to his right elbow. Row 2 is Austin Beers and Ron Silk. Pace truck hits pit lane. Green flag is out. We're back underway at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Doug Kobe on the inside will pedal by. Here, bringing with him Ron Silk in car number 16. Not so fast. Justin Bonsignor pedals back to the outside. We're side by side for position number 3. Coming back to put lap number 82 in the books. The battle's still on. Here comes Frank Johnson in car number 82. He's trying to go all the way down to the apron to get around the 64 of Austin Beers off the 2.
Yeah, Lutz got a little bit of a lucky break there because Beers came off at turn number 4 a little bit sideways. It's going to give Silk a chance to drop himself. Ron Silk down into the 3rd position. And now Lutz is on the attack, even on Ron Silk now. The 82 car feels like he's got a little bit of the old Superman cape hanging out. He's going after the 3rd spot.
Craig Lutz and John McKennedy up 1 spot to 4th and 5th as they combine to start finish line. Here comes the 22 car looking down at the bottom as well. That's Kyle Ebersol. As he, I make a correction, that's going to be the 22 machine. That is Kyle Bonsignor, who rides along in 13th spot. Working through turns 3 and 4 as the race leader tries to run away high from the field. We're watching John Kennedy, the point standings leader, working it over there with Craig Lutz as they come off of turn number 2. Ron Silk going to the inside. The battle's going to be on for 2nd spot. Can he make it stick coming off of turn 4?
Silk getting down there. So is Lutz. He got all 4 tires down on the apron that time off turn 4. Had to hang on to it the best he could. Great job of just broad sliding that machine off the corner. And we talked about his name a lot earlier. Look who's in 6th spot right now. Kyle Ebersol has made his way through the field. Adjustments late in the race. We're at least just past the midway point and brought the 5 car into the battle right now. But man, what a job right now for John McKennedy coming back through the field after having to be caught on the outside twice, having to come down here and make adjustments. He's been able to come through the field up to the top 5 right now. And watch as Ron Silk, oh man, Silk down on the bottom of the racetrack, got a little bit turned sideways off of Lutz's front bumpers, but it was actually able to make him dive in the corner and pull up underneath Bonsignor. Man, Doug Kobe's loving this. He's able to check out a little bit more.
Bonsignor, one eye out the mirror, one eye looking ahead as he's trying his best to keep Ron Silk at bay. Ron Silk feeling pressure now from Craig Lutz, that orange 82 car. They're stacking it up from 2nd all the way back to 5th. As we mentioned, Doug Colby trying to pull away from the rest of the group. His advantage now a little more than a half a second as Lutz gets squirrely coming through turn 2. McKennedy maybe starting to get a little impatient because they're ready to get closer to the front as laps begin to click away. They get around this racetrack in less than 16 seconds, so it doesn't take long for the race to run away. Here's the battle for 2nd, side by side. Ron Silk on the inside, Justin Bonsignor on top side. Justin's been there for most of the race. He's trying to protect it, but Ron Silk will take that 2nd spot. And here comes Craig Lutz following in his tire tracks.
That 16 car is bad fast, and so is that 82. Here comes Lutz. Craig Lutz to the bottom under Justin Bonsignor. He'll clear him for 3rd spot, but Ron Silk now has a new pair of cross eyes, and he's put him right on, crosshairs, pardon me, and he's put him right on the back end of the 7 of Doug Kobe. He sees that Tommy Baldwin 7 machine, and he wants to go give a challenge to him. Craig Lutz up to the 3rd spot. Justin Bonsignor back to the 4th spot, and a great run once again. But John McKennedy right now running in 5th spot, 79. Great recovery. Kyle Ebersol now, he's got a little bit of company. Tommy Catalano's right on his back bumper cover, and he's brought Kyle Bonsignor with him.
Here comes Craig Lutz briefly looking to the inside of Ron Silk for that 2nd position. The top 3 all in the 15-second bracket, so they're running very competitive speeds, about 15.9 seconds as they circle this racetrack. Craig Lutz trying to make it happen as they work off the backstretch now into turns 3 and 4. The gap, well, it's closing up as we come back now to put 96 laps on the scoreboard. A little further back, that's where we find the 54 car. And good action there. It's Tommy Catalano and Kyle Bonsignor in the 22 car as he tries to make his march back to the front. And then behind them is car number 5.
And when we dropped the green flag again, we saw Kyle Ebersol up there with that number 5 machine. Well, after we've run a few laps, he's fallen back a little bit, and he fell into the clutches of Catalina and Bonsignor. Both bypassed him now. So Bonsignor's machine, we saw it took about almost 20 laps for that car to really come in, the 22 machine. That's Kyle Bonsignor right there on your screen in the gray and pink and white number 22, the 54 of Catalina. Right up ahead of him, Tommy Catalina at Ontario, New York, the FX Cabrera Chevrolet, number 54, trying to run his own line around this racetrack as now your leader starting to get his first challenges of the night. He'll work to the outside of Walter Sutcliffe Jr. out of Manchester, Connecticut. Put him a lap down here on the racetrack, but the 7NY starting to see a silver car getting bigger in the rearview mirror.
Indeed, that is the case. The lead tightening up as we work off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Up to this point, it's been all Doug Covey here at lap 100. 2/3 of the race has now been completed, but Ron Silk seeming to come to life. Although that last lap, Ron Silk was a 1/10 of a second faster than Doug Covey. So, of course, Covey having to keep that into consideration as he tries to stay just ahead by a good 3 car lengths or so over the 16 car. Greg Lutz continues to ride along in 3rd position. But we've seen so many times over the years, one driver can dominate the entire event. Somebody like a Doug Covey a few years back who led 100+ laps of the race, but in the end, somebody else can come back and snatch it from you.
Yeah, I tell you, and Justin Bonsignor is getting his hands full now. He's got a couple of racers coming up behind him as our leaders were starting to tighten up. I look back in the field, and you see those 4 or 5 cars come streaking through the screen. There's the 51 machine. He's got the 79 of John McKennedy right in his tire tracks now. He was about maybe 4 or 5 car lengths ahead a couple of laps ago, but lap traffic has brought him back to the 79 machine. Tommy Catalano right in his tire tracks with the 22 machine of Kyle Bonsignor right behind them. So those 4 cars all battling on the racetrack right now for the 4th position out here. So that's a great battle for 4th. 4 machines from 4th through 8th all in one shot on your screen. So it's great tight racing action here at Langley.
So close you could throw a blanket over them as they work off of turn number 2. Right now the 51 car has the 4th spot, that being Justin Bonsignor. Everybody following his tire tracks as they work off of corner number 4. Laps winding away, 106 are on the scoreboard. At this point, drivers have to be thinking about the closing lap and what they need to do, what position they need to be in if they want to win this event. And of course, strategy, well, it's certainly at the top of everybody's mind.
107 laps on the board. Leader working his way down the backstretch and coming up on some seriously heavy traffic through 3 and 4 right now. He's got Gary Putnam right ahead of him, but Eric Goodale's machine, there's like 5 cars, and they're making contact right in front of your leader all the way through turn 4. Here goes Covey. He's going to cut it left. He's going to get done with this. He doesn't want any part of it.
His heart rate. We got cars around here in turn number 2. Yellow flag flies for the 3rd time this evening here at lap number 108 because of a couple of cars going for a wild ride. That includes the 58 car who has looped it off of turn number 2. That's Eric Goodale, as well as the 01 entry of Melissa Fifield. They are both have spun. Looks like the 58 has continued, but Melissa Fifield is facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, a little northbound in the old southbound lane, as a couple of my buddies at MRN would say. But right now, our caution flying once again tonight. I believe this is our 3rd one. The first one coming for J.R. Bertuccio's machine, expiring a motor down in turns 3 and 4. Debris caution bringing out the 2nd caution of the night.
Here's a replay of what took place coming off of turn number 2. Looks like the 58 car got in the back of a slow 01. So it looked like Eric Goodale and Melissa Fifield make contact. And, of course, Fifield is now rolling, as is the 58 of Eric Goodale.
Wrong place, wrong time.
And that happens sometimes in racing, particularly on a short track, a Saturday night. There's limited real estate, so contact can be made. But it looked like something slowed the 01 car. She was way up in turn number 2. Eric Goodale just couldn't get on the binders quick enough or get out of the way fast enough.
Yeah, I think all that happened when Doug Covey caught those lap cars. She was just ahead of them. So I think her spotter told her to get way up the track. You've got double wide traffic coming behind you that includes the leader. So she probably tried to get up to the top side of the track. When everybody backed off at the bottom, Goodale went to the top side of the racetrack, and there was nothing there but the 01 car, so he just got in the back end of her, just nowhere to go.
Guess what? There's only 39 laps remaining. This race is going by in a hurry. Doug Coby, the dominant car all evening long, has led the opening 111 laps. He's hoping to continue that march as we continue to go through this race. But Ron Silk, we watched him. He was coming on in a hurry. Let's see what he has to do here in these final few laps.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that silver machine is bad fast after their pit stop that they did at the break. Whatever adjustments they made, he and Craig Lutz were really right there, almost right identical. One could get in the corner better, one could get off the corner a little bit better, but that was about the only difference between those two cars. Wholesale on pit road, including Austin Beers, whatever they did to his car in the break, he said, please put it back.
He suffered quite a bit there because he was in third spot, and that car free fell through the field as far back as 6th or 7th. He is coming down pit lane. It looks like they're going to make a rear tire change on that race car, and maybe, I don't see if any adjustments have been made, but nevertheless, not as happy as he was early on in this event when he had been all the way as high as third spot. Several other drivers down pit lane. That does include the 34 car, J.B. Fortin, was down there, as is the 99 car who begins to roll on the racetrack, J.B. Tomeno. He'll be rejoining the party, as is car number 18, Ken Hagee, who was up to 8th position.
And Eric Goodale also came down pit road after being involved in the incident, wanted to go ahead and get the car checked over, probably maybe even change tires if he flat spotted him trying to not run into the 0-1 machine. So just wholesale pit stops once again here from about position 14 on back down here. But Doug Coby's led the entire thing so far. Rod Silk, though, like we talked about, we've well documented, he's got a very fast number 16 car. Craig Lutz right behind him in the 82. Justin Bonsignor in the 51, and John McKennedy rounds out your top 5.
Let's talk about Craig Lutz for just a moment. You talked about how successful he is. This is a milestone evening for that driver out of Miller Park, New York. This is his 100th career start.
Wow. Well, welcome to Langley Speedway for that, buddy. There you go. Hampton, Virginia ended up being his 100th career start, so congratulations to him on reaching that milestone, that's for sure.
Going back racing next time around, the field now will go 2 by 2 as they'll come to the restart on lap number 115. Doug Coby, he's executed a flawless evening. Can he continue to hit his marks and take that car to winner's circle at the legendary Langley Speedway, celebrating its 72nd season of competition? Doug Coby having to hold off a hard-charging Ron Silk, as Ron Silk will join to his right elbow. Row 2 will be Craig Lutz and Justin Bonsignor. Row 3 will make up John Kennedy and Kyle Ebersol. Coming again to the green flag, the Toyota Tundra pace truck will make the hard left. Who will win tonight's checkerflag.com 150? We're getting ready to settle business here this evening. Green flag is back in the air.
Doug Coby with a great start is able to launch out front. Ron Silk trying to clear Craig Lutz's machine. He will do so down the backstretch. Lutz looked like he was going to try to jam it in there, but the 16 machine took a left turn right down in front of him. It's going to catch Justin Bonsignor on the outside of the track. Here comes John McKennedy from the inside.
He's up to 4th position now as he'll go by the 51 of Justin Bonsignor off at turn number 2. We'll continue to race side by side. A little further back, we see the driver of Austin Beers in the mix. He's riding along in 7th position. Race leader Doug Coby across the start-finish line, back in turns 1 and 2. Single file for the most part. A little further back, we see Kyle Bonsignor in the 22. He's on the high side. Here comes the 18 car dialing up the inside lane as they work back to 3 and 4. So we'll go side by side here. That's a battle for position number 8.
Yeah, Ken Hagee trying to dial it up on the inside right now. A little bit loose through the center of 1 and 2. Kyle Bonsignor able to take advantage of that. Right now, Austin Beers is the man on the attack. Whatever they did on their adjustments, he is coming to the front as you see it. Goodale trying to make his way around the outside of Hagee's machine. Down on the bottom, Hagee gets a little bit sideways once again. Ken Hagee in the 18 able to hang on. But man, Austin Beers, they put 2 brand new racing tires on the back end of that machine, and it has brought it to life. He is now back up inside, I believe, your top 5 machines. He just passed the 51 of Bonsignor.
Indeed, Austin Beers is up to 5th spot as just 30 laps remain in this one in Hampton, Virginia. Everybody chasing Doug Coby, who's turning the very fast lap times, even here at lap number 121. I think that car is really good on the short runs. He is just pulling away from second place's Ron Silk, and there you see car number 64, Austin Beers. Good tight battle.
Yep.
One car is going around. That's the 22.
That's Kyle Bonsignor. Yeah,
Kyle Bonsignor.
That was just an accordion all the way back as much as you can think about it. between, it looked like the Justin Bonsignor machine, Kyle Bonsignor, a whole bunch of them back there together. And it just accordion back to where the bumpers clacked between the 22 and another machine, and around he went.
Kyle Bonsignor, one tour win here over the years, trying to make it number 2 here tonight, goes for a spin. Let's take a look at what took place over in turns 3 and 4. It looks like he and Jake Johnson and another car just behind him make a little contact. Eric Goodell. Eric Goodell's now been in a couple of incidents here this evening at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway.
Yeah, it looked like Bonsignor tried, Kyle Bonsignor tried to come in on the outside to make a diamond move on the 3 car, and Goodell already had the bumper underneath of him. The two just made just enough contact, and as big and wide as these tires are, you get a bunch of laps under them, they get really slick out here, so you can barely touch the throttle, and that's just what happened. Just enough of a nudge that around he went. You can see the 3 machine of Johnson go in, and it looked like Bonsignor caught him so fast that he actually had to back up to the 58, and just enough contact to those cars to end up making that 22 swap ends.
So 3 cars get together. The worst end of that deal is that driver. It's 33-year-old base shower New York's Kyle Bonsignor brings the car to the attention of his crew to get it looked over. Also in the pits is going to be car number 34, Eric Goodell. Excuse me, a correction. That's going to be car Fortin, JB Fortin, down on pit road under this most recent yellow flag, now with 26 laps remaining here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. But Kyle Bonsignor's back on the racetrack.
Yep, Jamie Tomeno also coming down pit road, getting some adjustments. Let's
see what happened on pit road. The 22 was coming down. Of course, they wanted to make sure the tires were in flat spot.
Oh, wow.
Heavy contact with Jamie Tomeno, as Jamie Tomeno was also coming down, looked like the pits, but Kyle, and he made heavy contact. You got to wonder if that did damage to that race car.
I was sort of wondering after the spin why if you watch if it went further, the crew member comes around and starts checking the right front suspension, and I was like, all he did was spin. Why are you checking the right front suspension? I didn't see that.
So one of those things you don't expect in the sport of auto racing, but indeed, here's one more look. At the last minute, the 99 decided to come down pit lane and turned right into the side of the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor.
When he comes down pit road, he comes to the attention of his crew, and he's telling them, I just took a wicked hit to the right front. Check it out. And you see this crew member, he immediately comes out and he's checking the control arms, making sure nothing's broken loose, nothing. You see he's wiggling, trying to make sure of everything, including the control arms, the upper A's, lower A frame, making sure everything's good on the right front of that 22 car. That was a pretty serious hit for these open front wheel cars.
It'll be 23 laps remaining when we get the green flag here this evening. But indeed, the 22 car, Kyle Bonsignor, is back out of the racetrack, hoping to make hay here in the final few laps. Doug Coby, Ron Silk on row 1. Does anybody have anything for Coby here in these final few laps of the evening? Who's going to leave Hampton, Virginia victorious? Pace Trucks getting ready to go back down pit lane. Doug Coby will need to hit his marks and hit them perfectly now as we go back to green flag action.
Coby fires up this time. Ron Silk stays within the right rear of the car, but he backs off for the corner, and Coby does not. Man, that car is in the racetrack on the cold tires. Doug Coby down into turn number 3. He's got Ron Silk, Craig Lutz now under fire from the outside. It's a great race off the corner between him and McKennedy. Down into turn 1. They'll continue that battle as Austin Beers starts to stick the nose up into the top 5 battle.
Austin Beers is trying to go by on the inside as well, but John McKennedy's not letting go. He's trying to battle back on the high side, working off of corner number 4 for the 3rd spot as Doug Coby and Ron Silk begin to pull away here in these closing laps. But one thing that's different on this most recent restart is Ron Silk is right there with Doug Coby within a car lane now, as this great battle for 3rd spot now has 3 cars in the mix. And again, that's the Austin Beers car who's come back to life. He fell as far back as 12th, even after starting this race in that position. He worked himself inside the top 3, had to bring that car back to the pits here in the middle stages of the race. It's come back to life now. He's going with the 82 of Craig Lutz as he'll try to pass the 78 car, make that the 79 John McKennedy as they go back to turns 1 and 2. McKennedy not letting go of the 82 of Craig Lutz.
McKennedy's upstairs. He's not coming downstairs right now. He wants to make this move work, and he's able to get Lutz to go ahead and burn the right rear a little bit. He'll actually cross the line just ahead of that machine, so that give that 79 machine the 3rd spot on that lap, and he will clear Lutz down into turn number 3. Great run by John McKennedy on the top side of Langley Speedway. Here comes Beers. He saw that happen. Austin Beers wants to repeat the feat. He's upstairs now on the 82.
Doing it the hard way, typically the inside, the shortest distance, the fastest way around the racetrack. John McKennedy says, nope, I can do it on the top side. Indeed, he does. He'll take over the third spot. Here comes Austin Beers. He's trying to make himself get around Greg Lutz. They go side by side in turns 1 and 2. As this happens, your race leaders are continuing to pull away. Now as we'll come back to the stripe, it'll be just 15 laps to go in this one. It's been a thriller all evening long. It's going to come down to 4 or 5 drivers. They have a shot at going to winner's circle.
And I'll tell you what, Eric Goodale just about got another taste of the back bumper of the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor. They went down into turn number 1, and Bonsignor went right across the nerf bars of the 58. He's right behind Kyle Eversole working down the front stretch now as Beers finishes the pass finally on Craig Lutz. He'll go up into the fourth spot, pardon me, as he will now try to chase down the 79 machine of John McKennedy before these laps wind down. But it's getting pretty spicy back here between the 58, the 22, and the 5 of Eversole.
Eric Goodale trying to make it happen as they work through turns 1 and 2 at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Eversole on the high side. Here comes the 54, Tommy Catalano. That's a battle for position number 7. Catalano has it at the moment. Here comes the 22. He's also on the inside as they work back one more time. There is just 12 laps remaining in this one. Good racing all over the field. Right now, Craig Lutz puts his car back inside the top 5. Craig Lutz is running along a good spot. Just behind him, trying to get around, is Justin Bonsignor.
I tell you what, J.B. Fortin, I think he's a lap down to your leaders, but he is giving Craig Lutz every bit of fight that he can possibly muster right now on the racetrack. And here comes Eric Goodale. He's in the battle now. And that is a battle for position between those two machines. If the 85 can get by the 58 can get by the 82, that'll be a top 5 run again tonight. And man, they make a little bit of nerf bar contact. They're going to stroll right through the center of the corner. And they've got both Bonsignors right behind them, Kyle and Justin, in that order.
Austin Beers goes around for second. I make that for third spot. So Beers is able to get around McKennedy as we go almost 3 wide, racing through turns 3 and 4. One car way on the inside. That's the 5th place is Craig Lutz as it comes down to corner number 4 as we continue to close in. Just 8 laps remain. It's almost done here this evening. The 22 sideways entering turn number 3, trying to keep a driver at bay.
The battle for 5th, man. Justin Bonsignor slammed that car all the way down on the apron on the entrance of turn 3. Greg Lutz is falling wholesale backwards. I don't know exactly what's going on with that machine, but it is definitely going the wrong direction in this field. Oh, and that's going to be a little bit of contact between the 3 machine of Jake Johnson and a couple of cars. They're going to save these cars, but man, that could have been a real bad deal for Doug Kobe. Ended up having another restart. Austin Beers coming up on some lap traffic suddenly. But man, these last few laps showing some serious action as the extended palm of our official on the flag stand. Only 5 circuits left, Brian.
The gloves are off. It's time to battle. Who is going to win? If you can't win, finish as high as you possibly can. Drivers have been kind to one another possibly for the opening laps. Maybe not so much anymore. Everybody battling for position. Here's Justin Bonsignor. He currently behind in 5th spot. Tommy Catalano right now is in 6th. He'd love to take that spot from him. That's that red 54 car. He wants to leave here with the top 5. Doug Kobe ahead of them, but this is Justin Bonsignor right now working off of corner number 4. The laps are winding down here this evening. Who is going to get it done? Right now the battle's for 5th.
Catalano right on the tire tracks and right on the back bumper bar of Justin Bonsignor. Down into turn number 3. They're getting ready to swing off of turn number 4. They're so close on the straightaways. Last time down the backstretch, it looked like that chrome bumper made a little bit of contact to that black painted back bumper. And here comes the white flag. Last time around the racetrack, leaders in 1.
Doug Kobe dominated the inaugural event back just a few years ago in 2017. Was not able to get it done. Flash forward to 2022, and for the 34th time in his career, Doug Kobe wins at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for the checkerflag.com 150.
Great racing by everyone. Here comes 4 cars in a knot, 1 lap machine, and Justin Bonsignor will actually end up in your top 5. So Doug Kobe in the 7, Ron Silk in the 16, Austin Beers in the 64, John McKennedy in the 79, and Justin Bonsignor, your top 5 finishers. Great racing action all race long.
Doug Kobe and team dominated the race here this evening. At one stage, it looked as though Ron Silk was going to be able to overtake that driver, but in the end, it was Doug Kobe who won this race. Margin of victory, 0.7 seconds over the 16 of Ron Silk. What a big night for Tommy Baldwin Racing. We talked about how dominant they have been here in 2022. They come to Hampton, Virginia, and continue their winning ways. Of course, they lead the point standings as far as the owners' championship standings, so they're trying to continue to keep that moving forward here this evening. Doug Kobe is victorious. He's here on the front stretch, takes the checkered flag, will do the Polish victory lap around this speedway and celebrate with the fans, as the Musco lighting system will help him celebrate here this evening. And I tell you, Buck, with a car that was so strong, a driver that's so talented, how do you think this feels to he and his team?
Well, I mean, after his dominant performance but not ending up in victory lane a couple of years ago, redemption. That's the number one thing for him. Tommy Baldwin, we saw him down there shaking hands and doing fist bumps with the entire 7NY team. He knows he builds great premium machines. He has a premium driver behind the wheel, and it came out on top just like they hoped it would. And that's why he put Doug Kobe in the driver's seat of this machine. And there he is right there, Tommy Baldwin. Folks, the family history and heritage behind that 7NY number back in victory lane with Doug Kobe, a 6-time champion. That's the mixture you want in the bowl every time you go to the chef's spot.
Milford, Connecticut's Doug Kobe, who came into this race, led the most laps here in 2022. Obviously, puts even more laps in the leaders column. He has won here this evening, getting ready to go trackside and get the thoughts of tonight's race winner, who just had a birthday. And we talked about during the pre-race how sweet it would be if he could win here a week later. And indeed, he's been able to do that. Fist pumps from crew members. Going to get a nice cold water to cool down on a hot, late August evening in coastal southeastern Virginia.
Yeah, Doug Kobe knows exactly what he can do with a race car, and he once again has proved it tonight here with teaming up with Tommy Baldwin. Like you said, wasn't even on his list for being in this race tonight early in the season. He and Tommy Baldwin got together, and they are ready to go celebrate here in Dale Lemons Victory Lane in Hampton, Virginia. What a great performance all the way together in checkeredflag.com 150.
All right, let's go trackside to Winner Circle and get the thoughts of tonight's race winner.
That's right, Doug Kobe jumping out of his car, celebrating with the fans. His team, Tommy Baldwin Racing. Doug, you came here in 2017, you got the pole, you dominated the race, but you weren't able to finish it all. Tonight, you did all of that, and you finally put it back in Dale Lemons Victory Lane tonight.
Yeah, what a great car prepared by Tommy Baldwin. You know, racing's an interesting sport, right? I mean, a week ago, things didn't go so well between me and this car, and here I am driving it to victory lane here at Langley, and this is just all about Tommy and his team and the hard work they put into making this car fast at every type of track and any driver that's in it. And this track changed since 2018, I can tell you that much. We were all talking about it today, and it's a very different place than when we last came here 4 years ago. But we really want to thank all the people here that came out to watch this race at Langley, Bill Mullis and everybody here, checkeredflag.com for coming on board sponsoring the race, Whelen Engineering, of course, Baldwin Automotive, and everybody that helps out on this car. It's just it's awesome to have modifieds down here in Virginia. It's such a great trip. I'm a University of Richmond graduate, so I'm kind of a pseudo-Virginian, and I love coming down here and putting on a good show for these fans.
What does it mean to come back here again, like we talked about in 2017? You had the trouble at the end of the race. You weren't able to get the win that night. To come back here 5 years later and make it happen.
Yeah, you know, trouble at the end of the race usually comes from someone else's bumper. You don't just kind of run into it. But listen, you know, these guys were coming. I know the 16 and the 64 battle to get up into the top two. And, you know, anything can happen here, especially with the lap cars. You know, fans don't realize it, but the lap cars makes you go real wide, and you get into the marbles up there. And, you know, a guy running second and third can close in 2 or 3 car lengths in a matter of a corner. So, you know, it means a lot just to come here. It's like, you know, anytime you kind of come to a newer track for all the teams, it's always nice to get a win. And, you know, again, this is all about Tommy and his team and the effort that they put in, not only just this past week to get the car here, but, man, what a rocket ship all season. And it's been a long time since I've been fastest in practice, won the pole, won the race, and led all the laps. So just a testament to this team and what they do.
All right, but there's your winner, Doug Kobe, who did the racing trifecta, getting everything in first place today, and he lands himself in Dale Emmons victory lane.
It was his 34th career win here tonight for the 6-time champion. He delivers in a big way, and of course we talked about domination. That indeed was the case for Doug Kobe, has won here tonight at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Want to talk about the second place finisher? That's Norwalk, Connecticut's Ron Silk in the 16 car. Of course, we talked about the tight points battle entering this race here tonight. It's going to tighten up even more as Ron Silk finished second. John McKennedy, who came into this race 5 points ahead, he finished this event in fourth. They knew what they had to do tonight, but Ron Silk winless in 2022. Unfortunately, he'll continue to be winless in this season, but this driver made his first start at this racetrack here tonight, and he had a good run. Watching the celebrations continue down in Winner's Circle, let's go hear the thoughts from our second place finisher here tonight of Ron Silk.
That's right, we're down here with Ron Silk, runner-up tonight in the checkerflag.com 150. Ron, you made a late charge there to try to get up to Kobe at the end there, but just didn't quite have enough.
Yeah, they were just a little bit better than we were. You know, I could stay with him there for a few laps after that last restart. I know we were both running pretty hard at that point, but he could just kind of inch away, and slipped up one time getting into one and lost a good bit of ground all in one shot, and that was about it for me. But great job by all my guys. Can't thank my entire team enough, and we'll go to the next one and try again.
All right, well, that's Ron Silk, your runner-up tonight here at Langley Speedway.
Ron Silk with another outstanding finish here this evening. He's actually tied with points leader John McKennedy for the most top 5s and top 10s here in 2022. So they both will continue that feat here tonight. As again, you just heard the thoughts from second place's Ron Silk. Hey, Buck, you know it's a career night for our third place finisher, Austin Beers, in the 64 car. Not only was he the top rookie finisher in tonight's field, that's his best career finish ever. It was 7th prior to tonight at Lee Speedway.
Yeah, and that was a very hard-earned third-place finish, because at one point when they had the break, he came back out, and it was like they put a parachute on. He just fell backwards like crazy. Well, they came in after a short green flag run before the next caution, put on a couple of brand-new rear tires, and he drove himself right up to third spot.
Let's go hear from him.
That's right, we're down here with your third-place finisher for tonight, Austin Beers. Your first top 5 in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. How does it feel to get this far up?
It feels great. I mean, it's been a dream of mine to run on this tour, so to get a top 5 and a top 3 especially, and how we're coming on at the end, it feels amazing.
Now, obviously you're a rookie, so every race this year is the first time you've been to many tracks. But what were some of the challenges you had to overcome tonight to get to third place?
I think what everybody else had. They were struggling off of 2, and just finding the balance of the car to make sure it turns and to get off of turn 2. And, you know, I got to shout out to Evergreen Raceway, because I wouldn't have ran as good as I did if I didn't run there, because this track is very similar to there. So I just got to thank KLM Motorsports, Murph and Maggie for everything, Sly, Ron, my dad, everybody on the crew.
All right, but there's your third place finisher, a career night for Austin Beers.
So it was a career night for a lot of folks, including the third place finishing Austin Beers as he comes home with a third spot. But we cannot overemphasize Doug Kobe and that team, how successful they've been over the years. And tonight, as we see the celebration happen with Bill Mullis, track owner here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Just a fantastic night of action.
Yeah, I tell you, there's so many saves tonight. There's so many cars that were aimed towards the infield off of the bumpers of the cars behind them, and they were able to save those cars. Only a few times did we see them actually go around, make a little bit extra contact, stuff like that. So kudos once again to the Whelen Modified Tour from NASCAR coming in here to Langley Speedway. You heard Doug Kobe allude to this track has changed so much since 2018 in 4 years. We've got the new paved areas on the bottom. We've got different stuff. The asphalt's wore out a little bit more. It's a little bit aged. It's a little bit more defined and refined, like a fine wine. This racetrack has got a great racing surface. And these drivers showed great talent. You heard Ron Silk. You could see it in his face. He wants that win so bad, and he could almost keep up with the Doug Kobe machine, but not able to do so.
Doug Kobe gets it done here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Just celebrated his 43rd birthday, and he is victorious in Hampton, Virginia, after an exciting night of racing that saw 4 yellow flags.
A couple of close calls on pit roads, and a couple of close calls out on the racetrack that resulted in some caution, but great racing action all the way around.